second here.
Oh, my bad. That's fine. We'll cut it out. We'll cut it out.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, cut this out. Hold on a second here. Let me figure this out. Got it.
Do your thing.
You good? No, you're good. You're good.
Just want to get, because I'm only getting, how many people are supposed to be on screen? 5 of us?
4.
4. Okay, we're good. All right.
We are good.
Unless you got somebody else. Is somebody else popping in, a mystery guest?
You can bring in Julio Iglesias.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I like that one.
Well, if we're all here, we might as well start from the top.
That's only if.
I think. I'm waiting for Julio, but I think we're good. We'll start from the top. This is the 5 on 5 podcast presented to you by directmusicservice.com and Nuke's Hot Sauce. Go ahead and bang our promo code 5on5, FIVEON, FIVE. For both of those, go save some money over at Nuke's. Get you some spicy stuff in your life. And then go over to directmusicservice.com and get you some spicy DJ edits, remixes, originals, everything you can think of. Go load those crates up. We're tired of hearing the same old songs.
Hold up, though, because we are tired of hearing that. If you see our beautiful faces on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and notification to be notified every time we drop a video. Once a week, usually Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays. But guess what? We're always there. So go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe.
Always on, never on schedule, but always on time.
That's it. Well, now that all the promos out of the way, let's announce who the hell's on the show today here. I am one of your co-hosts, Phenom, coming to you live from sunny tropical Portland, Oregon. Down the street from me in equally sunny and equally tropical, it is Jupiter Williams. Down in the belly of the beast where it's always hot and always spicy, it's Nick Lopez. And our special guest today really needs no introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyways. One half of Captains of Industry, the legendary, one of the best DJs I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, Graham Funke.
Boom, 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 boom.
Far too many inaccurate adjectives, but okay.
It's all of it. Sir, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. What's been going on in your world?
I don't know. It's everything's like a blur, from COVID. So as much as busy as I am DJing, it's just kind of like, well, where did we've been DJing like almost an entire year since stuff opened back up. So what's been going on is like just DJ stuff, which is weird. But it seems so surreal, but
yeah. I see you over at this spot Bungalow. How's that going?
Yeah, that was a place that I was working at before COVID. We were doing a disco night, like an industry night on Mondays. But coming out of COVID last April, they brought me back in to, just do more of the main shifts. And it's owned by Brent Bolthouse and Jen Rosero, who like those legendary nightlife impresarios for Los Angeles. I mean, they just threw Neon Carnival's their event, which happened yesterday. I don't know when this airs, but not yesterday, but Saturday, Coachella weekend, right?
Saturday, okay, Coachella Saturday. There we go.
They produced that, but Bungalow is one of their spots, and they have more than one bungalow. They got Santa Monica, which is Los Angeles, and they got Long Beach, and they got Huntington Beach, and they got up in the Bay Area as well, which opened late last year. So been working a lot for them, and then slowly getting back into the normal circuit that I had enjoyed prior to COVID hitting. So slowly working my way back into those spots that I was doing. But the mother load of work has been working for Jen and Brent at the various bungalows.
Great.
Hell yeah.
Now is Beauty in Essex one of those still?
No, I didn't go back to work there. I've worked at Highlight Room a few times, which is in the same property since stuff reopened. But I'm not sure what the status of Beauty in Essex is, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I was working there quite a bit before the pandemic. But yeah, coming out of pandemic, Highlight Room has been the spot where I've been working.
Gotcha.
Well, we're definitely happy to see you back to work. As I mentioned, you're one of my favorite DJs. I think these guys can easily agree with that statement. We're happy to have you on today. What we do every week, we compare two artists head to head. We go through their top 5 songs as viewed most popular on Spotify. We go 5 rounds. You pick a this or a that. It gets weird. It gets gross. And the maestro of weird and gross for today's pick is Nick Lopez.
Yes.
So today I was kind of like in a frantic, who the fuck do I pick for Graham? Like, but I'm like, he's obvious. He's ahead. Like,
Yeah.
I can literally pick anything.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
I kept it light. I didn't get crazy. I kept it light.
When Ghost Bar opened up in Dallas some years ago, at the W down there, I'd gone down. I was one of the residents. I think I did the opening weekend as well. I used to go down there. I think it was once a week for the first stretch. And so the local paper did an interview with me, and the guy asked me what one album I would take to an island. And my answer was Damien Rice. Oh, and he couldn't wrap his head around this. It's so far removed from what, a DJ might answer, but that's legit what I would probably take with me,
I'm glad that you actually brought that up, because that's usually like towards the end of the show what we end up asking is the stranded desert island question.
Well, yeah, at this point, I don't even know what the answer might change today. I'm just saying,
right.
When you're trying to scramble for what to ask me, we might be way off base. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
Failure. This might be boring.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, I'll just put it out there. It changed a few times, but I went with some 80s R&B, some 80s pop R&B. So, Trav, you're going to love this.
Okay.
This is Debarge.
Yes.
Versus the Jacksons.
Oh, come on.
Sony.
Yeah,
so
man.
Not the Jackson 5s.
Okay.
Debarge wanted to be the Jacksons.
Yes.
So bad.
This was
even marrying to the Jacksons too.
Yeah, they married in. They were discovered by
Jermaine,
right?
By Jermaine. Mm-hmm.
So I figured the familial ties made it fun.
Yeah,
the
let's
real
go.
World. Do you want to know what the original pick was?
What's that?
Yeah.
It was Ready for the World versus Debarge.
Ooh.
That's good too.
But Ready for the World just didn't have a solid top 5 that I was like, they would have got smoked.
Gotcha.
They had like 3 really.
I feel like we might have to check this, but I feel like there was this on Ready for the World song that we uncovered. Me and my man Renato Laranja. If you're familiar with this MMA personality, Renato Laranja.
I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my homie, and I think I'm Googling it right now to make sure I'm talking not out of pocket here. But the song that we used to really love was, I don't want to say it before I'm correct.
I'm thinking of one. I'm wondering if it's the same one.
Digital Display.
Digital Display.
Yeah.
That's my jam.
Love, and there was something wrong. That's a Daft Punk song, and I'm like, I had something off. It was Digital Display.
Yeah.
Gotta love Ready for the World.
Got it.
Yeah, that's why I picked. Digital Display is my favorite Ready for the World song, above Oh Sheila.
What did that make the cut on Spotify?
It would have been on the top 5.
Oof.
But I think they had a repeat, and so you had to go to number 6, and it just became to a ballad.
Dang.
And same for Debarge. I had to do that for them too.
Okay.
I think we talked about this before, but a lot of people think "Oh Sheila" is a Prince song, right? Like that's common misconception.
We have spoke about that.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've not heard it before, but I mean, I could see it. I suppose.
I guess I never thought that. Oh, I guess maybe because of Sheila E. But I think listening to it, the intro, could be a confused for maybe a time type of song or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Definitely a Minnesota feel.
Yeah.
That Minnesota, New Jack swing.
Minnesota in the 80s.
What was that Minnesota?
It's pre-New Jack, because...
Yeah, I know. So what would that be called?
Old Minnesota
Jack.
sound.
That's Old Jack.
Old Jack.
Old Jack swing.
We only play Old Jack swing.
Old Jack swing.
Right. Round 1, Debarge versus the Jacksons. We have Rhythm of the Night versus Blame It on the Boogie.
Ooh.
Graham, you get to go first.
Now, explain to me what I'm supposed to weigh in on this precisely.
You got to pick which song you like better, and then at the end,
I like better to listen to, or that I would use for work.
that's going to be your reasoning for choosing. So if you choose to pick one song because it's for work, or you choose to pick another song because you just like it more, that's completely up to you.
Yeah.
You just have to pick one.
Man, that's tough because I would use them in different circumstances, depending on the crowd. But I do believe that the Captains put Blame It on the Boogie on one of their mixtapes. So let's just slide with that to be safe.
All right.
Call.
Man, I got to go Debarge. This just absolutely lights the room up every single night. And you can kind of play it for a little bit of everyone. And even if it's like a bunch of younger kids, they're probably going to move to it. So I'm going to go Debarge.
And Trav.
I agree with Colin on the song, but I'm going with Jackson's, man. Jackson. And you can't slip on that video too. Oh my God. It was so innovative. It had the shoes moving with no legs in them.
This is my favorite Jackson's video because I love watching Tito dance.
Oh yes.
My man looks terrible.
Yeah. And all they were doing was walking back and forth.
I know we call the video,
screen.
but then if they're doing shots of just boots, they either crib that from Rock With You video or Rock With You crib that from Blame It on the Boogie video, because there's also close-ups of moving
of the
boots in Rock With You.
I believe Blame It on the Boogie came out before.
I'll have to do a number crunch.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure which one came out first.
Get that right. YouTube will come for us. Get that one right.
Who is it? 1980? 1980.
Yeah.
Oh, don't shout him out.
No shout outs.
I'm shouting him out. He's the best.
Don't shout out. All right. Yeah, that's our roughest one. Round 2. I Like It versus Can You Feel It?
Ooh.
This is already tough.
Yeah.
Who wants to take it?
I don't.
I'll take it. You know, I'm gonna slide with Debarge again. Smooth. That's a cruiser, man. That's a hot knife through butter, baby. And I'm going Debarge.
That's a tough one. I mean, for me, obviously the Debarge song is dope, but I feel like the video for Can You Feel It?
That's what I was about to say.
Was very, very, very impactful upon me as a child.
Yes.
Sprinkling the dust across the city. And
and then the rays coming between the arms. Come on.
But there's like a video version of the song which like breaks down into just instrumentation, which is like amazing.
Yeah.
Also, I find myself playing that song a lot more than the Debarge jam. So I definitely got to go with the Jacksons again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel that.
Trav, you going Jacksons?
I play both of these songs equally the same.
Yeah.
You know, one song at the beginning of the night, one song toward the middle part of the night. I mean, Can You Feel It? It's such a hype song too.
It's huge. It's a big
stadium.
That's like
song.
the Olympics. The intro to the Olympics should be "Can You Feel It?" Like every year. You
got to think that they kind of put. You know, I'm just thinking of the mindset and the time when they put this out. This was right when they were going to be done touring. So you're talking about the Victory Tour. And big stadiums like baseball stadiums,
this is
football
huge.
stadiums.
This is like Pepsi era,
Yeah. So this song was like a big stadium song to me, like the Kanye living in Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Right.
So yeah, Can You Feel It? I gotta go. Can You Feel It?
Okay. You talked yourself into that one. You
I
hyped
didn't have
yourself
to.
into it.
No, I didn't have to talk myself into it.
You almost talked me into it because Can You
for
Feel
real?
It?
Okay, so that's what it was.
We need to start filming videos with Can You Feel It? Like when we're just doing basic ass tasks, like taking out the garbage, be like, Can you feel it? And you're just like you did your laundry for the day. Can you feel it? Like we did it.
That's me doing my taxes today.
Oh yeah. IRS told you, can you feel it?
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
Round 3. Debarge with Who's Holding Donna Now versus Shake Your Body.
Oh, Shake Your Body for me.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Shake
Round
Your
4.
Body.
Round 4.
Yeah, that wasn't even.
strong garbage round. Okay.
Shake Your Body, I believe had I believe the demo had Janet on percussions. I believe Janet was on percussions in the demo on this one.
You're thinking of,
or am I thinking of
Working Day
Don't
and Night?
Stop Till You Get Enough?
You're thinking the Working Day and Night demo, because it had the whole family like playing on like bottles and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then you could hear Janet.
Oh, you can hear Janet
Michael
and
and
Randy.
Jermaine like arguing in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, turn my headphones down. They're like,
yeah,
each other.
That's what it is.
I hear you. Because
Yes.
Janet was in that one. Round 4, which I kind of want to have a quick discussion about, is All This Love versus This Place Hotel. That's a solid pick.
It's a solid pick, but I gotta go This Place Hotel.
Why is it called This Place Hotel?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Versus Heartbreak Hotel, because that's what the song says.
Right.
It said this is Heartbreak Hotel, but this is This Place Hotel. Is there another song called Heartbreak Hotel?
There's other songs called Heartbreak Hotel. Oh yeah, but
the Elvis song Heartbreak Hotel.
Yeah.
Not just that, but if you've visited Graceland, as I have many times, the actual official Elvis Presley Enterprises hotel that they built adjacent to Graceland, called the Heartbreak Hotel, is literally at the end of Lonely Street, just like in the song. At the Heartbreak Hotel. So it's a great question. Do we check the lyric to make sure that is This Place Hotel?
Could you imagine if it actually was this place? This is this place.
It really rolls off the tongue.
And you get the Jackson Presley connection, obviously, through marriage, right?
Yes.
So be some crossover there, though. Who knows? I mean, this is the weird thing about having these conversations. We need like a fact checker off to the side that
I just number checked.
Yeah. You just do the number crunch?
I did. So this song this song's title change to This Place Hotel to avoid confusion of Elvis Presley's hit.
Okay, so it was that song. That's why I was like, I know there's another song, but I didn't know if that was like, okay, all right.
Well, there you go. You learn something new every day.
I think that's just one of those things I've always wondered and never took the time to Google.
It's the information is at your fingertips.
Literally.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So picks All This Love versus This Place Hotel.
This Place Hotel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This Place Hotel.
Yeah, I'm going with that.
Starts off as a slow jam, gets into a funk dance song, and then it goes right back down to a slow jam.
I know you guys are going to ask, did Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson ever meet? Does anyone have the answer?
Oh, I don't know, because I did just read that apparently Michael was unaware of Heartbreak Hotel, the song.
So they did meet.
They had to have met while they were the Jackson 5, yes?
So
you had to have, right? Yeah.
You would think so. But the first time they met was when Michael met Lisa Marie.
Oh.
That's the same time he met Elvis.
Oh.
Well, so when was this though? Because
were they like teenagers?
Elvis died in the 70s.
I don't know.
Elvis died.
When 19. Okay, yeah. So Graham, with Jackson 5 in Vegas, 1974.
It makes sense. At the Hilton, at the International Hotel, perhaps.
Yeah,
probably.
Interesting.
Yep.
3 years before his death.
Yeah. So that's a small window of when that could have happened.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would sound like, those two together on a track, but oh well.
Me neither.
I mean, yeah, Elvis at the time.
Elvis, like, this is tail end 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Elvis, capital E Elvis, like over the shit. Like,
sideburns.
Yeah, like
this is the
checked
king.
out. This is banana peanut butter sandwiches. Like,
this kicking, this is punching.
Yeah, this is the kicks.
Yeah,
that Elvis, the Elvis we all love.
Yeah.
Last and final round. Time Will Reveal versus Torture.
Oh God. Oh. Time Will Reveal.
Now, why did we choose Torture just out of curiosity?
Well, it's just the algorithm of Spotify.
Oh yeah.
So that one outranks like State of Shock, which was like I think the first single.
Yeah.
Right.
With Mick Jagger on it.
Yep.
No, that's real interesting.
So what happens here is
okay.
that Torture is actually number 6, but Blaming on the Boogie's 7-inch version is number 5. So I just went. So Blaming on the Boogie is actually on here twice.
That's so bizarre to me.
Spotify is the weirdest. Has the weirdest top 5s.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that I don't have anything in common with anybody.
Yeah, I feel that.
Or what appeals to me.
Right.
But that Torture video used to bug me out as a kid because if you remember, it's got some elastic trim or whatever, and people are coming through.
Yeah.
And it was on the tail end of like there was a bunch of videos. If you remember this video, Jeopardy by the Greg Ginn Band. Our Love's in Jeopardy, and he's getting married, and he pulls in the church. He pulls a part of a pew out, and it's a guitar, but he's fighting. It's like horror videos.
Right. In like
horror videos at the time.
And almost like stop motion.
Yes, weirdo stuff.
Yeah.
So the Torture video always bugged me out. Though it's not my favorite song. So I mean, I'm hard pressed to choose. One was very impactful visually to me. And I haven't voted for any Debarge songs. So let's just go with Debarge.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Debarge too. By the way, that State of Shock album or that State of Shock single is one record you can find in any record store.
Oh,
if you're not looking for it.
Yeah.
Like
that and what do we always see too? The Jacksons. Which one was that? Dynasty?
Oh, Dynasty. I see.
Yeah.
The Dynasty album that we see all the time.
I only see it when I'm not looking for it too. Yeah. Like if I got a homie that wants it and I'm like, yeah, I got you. And then I never find it. The minute I stop thinking about it, I see it every day.
I'm not sure what they expected the critical acclaim to be of the Jacksons and Mick Jagger, but that's not the song I would have expected to come out and be like, everyone needs this, because no one plays that. No one gives a shit about that song.
So if you listen to it, and I've listened to it many times because we reference it and have a laugh, the end of it's super creepy with Mick Jagger, like, he's like, look what you done to me. Look what you done to me. And he ends with like a gasp or a moan, like super creepy song. Yeah. But I mean, I dig it, honestly. You know?
Yeah.
That whole
Torture is not my jam.
Yeah. The State of Shock I preferred, but Mick Jagger was doing some weirdo stuff in that time period with doing the Bowie duet, but also the solo record, She's the Boss, with Just Another Night. That's another bugged out video with Radon Chong in it. He's dressed so funky, and he was just like in a weird vibe in that first half of the 80s. So that State of Shock record does not confuse me. Say it for yourself anyway.
Graham, have you met Mick Jagger?
I've not met him, but on 2 occasions he's been in the spot while I've been DJing. And the most annoying thing about that, if we can have a sidebar here,
absolutely,
if I could pivot. One night he was in the spot, and this was at 40 Deuce, which is no longer, this is in LA, and smaller, very exclusive venue. And Mick Jagger comes in and he's sitting down, and he's right up against the bar, and people just kept coming over like, Mick Jagger's here, play some Rolling Stones. And I'm thinking, like, everybody's already staring at this guy. Now I'm going to play a song that everybody's really going to stare at the guy to see what his reaction to hearing a Rolling Stone song is. No way. No shot. So that's, never met him, but yeah, on 2 occasions he's been in the spot while I've been DJing. Both of them really, really, really hard to get into smaller spots.
So sick. He's gonna live for a billion years. On the trajectory him and Keith are on, they're way younger than us, anyone in this podcast right now. So that's fucking dope. A lot of people expect those celebrities to want to hear their own shit, and that's mostly not the case.
I used to do this place called Teddy's and again, this is, some years ago, and Prince used to come in frequently. And when he would come in, like he had a bodyguard or a guy that would come with him, and he would come over first and say, "Hey, Prince is here," or he'd say, "The man is here." Sometimes he wouldn't even say Prince, "The man is here." And that meant don't play any Prince songs at all.
Right.
And they would warn you, like, if you play a Prince song, he's going to dip. So you would never, you would avoid Prince and Prince adjacent stuff. But the funny thing is, and I always use this when I talk about requests, on occasion, Prince would actually come over and talk to me, and he would make a suggestion. He would say, "Do you know what might sound good with this? Not, can I hear this, or you should play this. Do you know what might sound good with this?" And he'd make a suggestion. Usually he was spot on. Usually he was always spot on. So when I talk about requests and some of these kids who come up and are so demanding and so entitled making requests, I'm thinking, like, Prince didn't make requests. Prince,
the man,
So who are you?
Right.
Straight up.
Right. Can you remember any of those suggestions?
They were always funk songs, and James Brown or Funkadelic, usually. But that's his tip, you know what I'm saying?
What were you playing during the time when he would come up and request
I wish I could remember the exact year this would be. We could Google it, and maybe there would be a mention of when Teddy's opened. This is at the Roosevelt Hotel. Teddy's might still be there for all I know, but this is when it first opened. So if we went back and looked at that time period, it would be a mix of, like, probably some stuff I'd play in like a normal, bottle club, mixed in with, like, some better curated stuff, like a mix of that. Not fully, commercial, but, kind of peppered in. So I couldn't tell you exactly. I wish, I used to save my Serato playlists just to, like, not because I wanted to go back and, like, relive the glory days, but on a few occasions when there's been an issue about something I've played for a corporate thing, I have it and I go, "No, that didn't happen. No, I didn't play a dirty version. No, that song didn't get played." So I used to, like, archive this, and I lost that file. So I can't even go back, because you can export the histories, right?
Right.
So
right.
there was a time I was archiving that just for, like, my own records, but those are gone. So there's no way.
That's actually a genius idea.
Yeah. I want to slide on top of that before we round out this battle. Graham, tell us anyone that came up besides Prince that you never would have expected to come up to the DJ booth and ask you for anything.
And ask me for anything? My God, this would be tough for me to, like. I mean, there's been some random ones, like MC Hammer. But yeah, to find, like, a great one that came up to the booth, I'd be hard pressed, like, come up with one right this very second.
Sure.
But I have found in my experience that, guys like Mick Jagger or, I did a number of parties for, like, Sting in the day. These are people who don't want to hear their own music. They've heard it a million times. But in the hip hop culture, and I think that hip hop culture influenced the rock culture, you would have artists who were hip hop or, not hip hop in the more modern era requesting their own songs in the club.
Yeah.
And I've had some who shall remain nameless request their own songs in third person as if they weren't requesting their own song.
Oh boy.
I just feel like, I'll tell you a funny one, actually. Just this one popped up. I was DJing at a place, the original Hyde, which there's another Hyde now in Hollywood, but this is the original Hyde in the small space. And Busta Rhymes comes in, and he's got some record people with him. And this was right when Arab Money had come out, which was, that song worked in the club, but in this particular space at that Hyde, that wasn't really the programming that was happening there. So I see Busta come in, and they bring him over to introduce him to me. And I go, "Oh, what's up?" And one of the record guy goes, "Can you run through the Busta songs," which are obviously, going to be the solo stuff. And I said, "I'll get to that." And what I do is I drop Sound of the Zeekers off the Leaders of the New School album, which is like my favorite Leaders of the New School record. And as soon as it comes on, I see Busta Rhymes running towards the DJ, like charging. He's a big dude, charging the DJ booth. And I'm like, okay, this guy's going to mess me up. Like, obviously, like I tapped into something that he's like, you know, I woke a bad memory or he hates the song. I didn't know what was going on, but he's charging at me. And he comes over and goes, yo, how do you know this song? And I go, oh, this is my favorite song off the Loggins record, you know? And he goes, I haven't heard this song in 20 years. I produced it. And I was like, oh, that's wild. So we chop it up for a sec while it's playing. And at the end of it, after I'm like, yo, this guy's actually he's a cool dude. And I can't believe he's appreciating this you know, Sound of the Zeekers record. He goes, can I ask you for a favor? I go, oh, here we go. Now here comes the Arab money request. You know, he goes, can you just start this song from the top? He wanted to hear Sound of the Zeekers again. I was like, no sweat. So,
yo, that's fucking dope, man. Yeah, those moments, those are only kind of LA or New York kind of moments. You can't really catch those too many other places.
Unless you know, go to a market where, you know, you got some musicians that are from there that are in town or that stay there. I mean, I'm Chicago, you can come across.
Chicago's had a couple.
Where I met you.
Yeah. And we definitely need to get into that too. Let's wrap up this battle real quick and then hop into lightning round. Gentlemen, did we go Debarge or Jackson's? Who are we taking on that?
Which one is this?
That was Torture and
Time will reveal.
Yeah.
Time Reveal. Oh my God. Time Reveal is such like a hood classic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, God, this was played at, you know, the backyard barbecues. Yo, do you know Michael Jackson was not in the Torture video?
You know what's funny? You guys bring the Torture video up, and I'm like, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah. MJ was not in that Torture video, and I believe they used a mannequin. They used a mannequin at the end of it for him.
Yeah, Mannequin Jackson.
Mannequin Jackson, man. God, let's go to Debarge.
Jackson.
Let's go to Debarge, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with that. That's how I feel too. All right. Well, that was pretty one-sided.
I honestly am a little bit surprised.
No, but you put Debarge up against the Jacksons. I mean, at the end of the day,
nobody could win at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're talking about like global perception, there's no way. That's no amongst DJs. Yeah, you can make. This is why we have this debate. But you know, it's Jackson's versus Debarge.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like this way of doing it, just like song for song. Yeah, because it's just like I like this one better. Yeah, I understand the Jacksons are fucking the Jacksons, but like. Yeah, you know, this Debarge song is better than that. Like, I just like it better. So it's a little bit more fun, but because we're at the mercy of Spotify's algorithm, songs like Torture end up here.
Right. Well, I do want to take you into the lightning round, Graham. This is going to be just for you. I'm going to throw a bunch of artists your way, and you pick a this or a that. One of them stays. The other has to be deleted out of your Serato. And out of existence. Never hear them. You can never hear them again.
Even those records back there, you gotta toss them.
Yeah,
they just disappear.
You can keep the sleeve, but you gotta toss the
sleeve will just be a question mark. Starting with this, Fleetwood Mac or Tom Petty?
Fleetwood Mac all the way.
Okay. Diddy or Jermaine Dupri?
JD.
Armand Van Helden or Fatboy
hold
Slim?
on. This is what I'm choosing, not throwing away, right?
These are the ones you're choosing.
Okay, yes, JD.
Yeah. Armand Van Helden or Fatboy Slim?
Okay, see, this one's tough. I'm going to go with Armand Van Helden only because, like, I feel like he's like an unsung hero. You know what I'm saying?
The coolest. He's the coolest. I saw a picture of him the other day at Coachella. The coolest.
Yeah.
And
I think that's been the talk that episode, that he was just
the coolest.
He's the coolest DJ. Yeah. He's my favorite DJ.
But effortlessly cool. You know, like some of these older DJs like try to on TikTok, try to be hip, whatever. Like,
trying to hold on.
Nah. Me, I'm on TikTok now. That's a little promo for my TikTok.
But I did see you mention that, and I'd be interested if I was going to get on TikTok. That would be the kind of content I'd be interested in, looking at vinyl stuff,
See, I feel like there's not much of that, and it's kind of an untapped thing. We're not going to talk about TikTok on the show, but we all know that we could love to look at records all day, even if it's just on your phone without having to go to a record store. Neek and I do that for hours on end for the day. Jay Dilla or Pete Rock?
Gonna go with Pete Rock. I've eaten off him more than Dilla.
Fair. The Who or the Stones?
The Slum Village record was one of my favorite records. The first volume 1. I do love that record a lot, which I think if he produced most, if not all of that record, yeah.
Yeah, all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
1, yeah. I think 2 has like Q-Tip on there. I'm not sure.
Yeah. The Who or the Stones?
I'm gonna go with the Stones. Though I've seen the Who in concert, but not the Stones in concert.
Okay.
Though you know what? Because like I'm really only interested in the Stones recorded music. Live doesn't engage me that much, and I don't know why. I feel like they're like the world's most famous and successful garage band. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, are you into live albums at all?
I will watch live versions of songs on YouTube all night. Like when I'm going to sleep, I have my headphones in, I've got my iPad, and I'm like looking at various live versions of songs nonstop. My girl bugs out on it. She's like, how many different versions are you gonna watch of this? But
do you buy live albums though? Like, is that something
I don't buy live albums? I never bought those because I would probably not use them. Though I mean, obviously I have Marvin Gaye live, because it has Gotta Give It Up on.
And that's a classic.
That record.
That's
yeah. And then I got like
there's
like Watt stacks in here, or a couple like concert records, just to have. But typically I would not buy live records.
That's fair. Nick, you've started buying. You don't buy live albums?
No, I have like you said, like Marvin Gaye live. Like there's certain ones, like in the first one that always pops on my head, the only one I've ever wanted, and you're gonna laugh, it's Bob Seger's Silver Bullet Band live Bullet.
Fire.
Only because of Bo Diddley.
Fire.
All right.
No, that's fair.
It's like a B-boy classic.
Graham, I know you don't remember meeting me, but I met you back in I want to say 2010 at Couture in Portland with Mark Sid and Jamal Brown and Amir Panaport. Sure. Yeah, so sure. I met you back then.
That was a fun little spot,
It was.
To have a bottle club up there, and then we were just actually talking about, if you remember, the Portland Armada. Do you remember this? Yeah, we were just talking to a clothing company about that, because it's like no one's done it since.
Right.
Like, they just get coordinates, and Red Bull built a floating dance floor in the middle of the river.
Yeah.
And then told people to show up. And we did it twice. I think me and Stone did it the first time, and then the second time it was me, Stone, and 5 and 4 Color Zach.
I was there the second time.
Yeah, see, that was a fun one, but there was some, you know what it was? You know what messed that up was Mark got shut down that night. Like they blocked off the street. He didn't have the permits or something. So it was other than like the Armada part, it was a failure. And I think Mark, hung it up soon after that anyway.
Gotcha.
Does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then he came back with Division Heights at that time.
The what?
You remember Division Heights? Did you play at Division Heights?
You know what? I did play. I did a disco one time there. The night before Thanksgiving, we did a disco night.
That's right.
That's the only time I've been there. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. He closed that place down shortly after.
Well, going into it, they were like, we've been having a lot of trouble. And literally that night, I'm watching from the balcony down the street, and there's like 50 people rumbling.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah. So everything they said was like coming to fruition. Right.
But shit's been a little wild.
Yeah.
Shit got a little wild.
Shit got crazy over there.
Yeah, but you know what? I've always something always pops off down there. I mean, I spent a lot of time up there because my uncle lives up there.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I've been with Mark. I remember we went to go like right near Couture was like a burrito truck.
Right.
Yo, Phenom was with us. Now I think about it, and like some dude just got cracked with a Coke bottle, and everybody got shook, and everybody like starts to take off. I'm like, yo, the burritos are coming. What do you like? That stuff doesn't get me shook. You know what I mean? But everybody else is like,
yo, the food is.
Do you remember this, Colin? When
was it?
It was after
By Fortune. Because I remember you telling me the story, Colin.
I was you were with us. It was me and Mark, and we went to the food truck. We were ordering, and then some dudes got into it. And they grabbed like one of those Mexican Cokes out of ice and like.
Oh yeah.
And like you were like, all right, I'm out. And Mark's like, I'm out. I'm like, the burritos are coming. I stay there amongst the mayhem and get the food.
But the burritos, like famous last words, like when like bullets start spraying.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, can I get my burrito?
I didn't know the neighborhood well enough to worry about that stuff.
Right.
Been in crossfire too many times as a youngster, going where I shouldn't be hanging out to get shook off some dude getting clipped with a Coke bottle.
Exactly.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Nick, did you say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
Portland Armada. That's how we got on.
Portland Armada, yeah.
Portland Armada.
Yeah, we were talking about the Portland Armada. That was the Red Bull.
Red Bull built a dance floor in the middle of the river. It's a whole other. We'll go back to the program.
Okay, cool. We will.
I'm probably not going to do too much editing of this conversation after that.
That's fine.
We're just going to have to live with the opening of the door.
We will pop in here. Red Hot Chili Peppers or MGMT?
Well, okay. So I do like MGMT a lot. And I seen them at a Coachella one time and I enjoyed their set. But in 1986, as a very small person, when I'd seen the movie Thrashin', featuring the Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Thrash Bash doing the song Black Eyed Blonde off the Freaky Styley record, not only did I become a fan, but by Mother's Milk, the next record, I had taken the bus, not having a driver's license, to the Greek Theater to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers in concert. And I had been a fan of theirs from that point to about Blood Sugar Sex Magic, where that's where they really turned pop. And this is no fault of their own. It's happened to many bands I've loved. But after that point, you know, the music didn't appeal to me that much. But I will take those first records, Uplift Mofo, Party Plan, Freaky Styley, Mother's Milk, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, great record. Not that they haven't had great songs since. It's just, you know, moved out of my cipher, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were those guys accessible at that time? I'm sure they were just like everywhere, yeah?
You mean in Los Angeles? You might see them in Los Angeles. The only person I ever came across in real life is Anthony Kiedis at a barbecue in Griffith Park for a DJ named Mike Messick, who was like an OG LA DJ. And we had met him, me and my rapscallion homies when we were young, running around town, going out to all night parties. He invited us to his birthday barbecue. And so Anthony Kiedis was there. And I remember Ad Rock from the Beastie Boys was there. We felt very hip to be in this cypher as like 14-year-olds or whatever it was. But he's the only one I've come across in real life. Though if I'm not mistaken, and I could totally be mistaken because a lot of it's a blur, when I done the Spike TV Guys Choice Awards and Kid Rock performed, I believe the drummer was Chad, which I staged with them. But again, there's so much bad information at this point coming in that it pushes like the great stuff out the back.
Yeah, I feel that. Like the last 2 years, it's just a fucking blur.
Yeah.
Time is a circle.
Yeah. Let's do Ashanti or Sierra.
Man, Okay, well, I eat off Sierra more than Ashanti, though on occasion I will throw in an Ashanti tune, just to flip it up. If you can get an acapella out and drop the Foolish piano.
Yep.
Gets a reaction, it's good. But 1-2 step is not gonna, that's gonna be a heater no matter what.
Right. That's
so we'll go with Sierra.
Diana Ross or Donna Summer?
I'm gonna go with Donna Summer. We like the Giorgio Moroder production, though. I mean, Diana Ross is equally as iconic.
Sure.
But iconic in a different way, even. So these are tough.
Let's go with Kendrick Lamar or Kenny Loggins.
What?
Battle of the Kennys.
Well, okay, you know what? Being a huge fan of the yacht rock genre, though not a huge fan of Kenny Loggins per se as a solo artist. We'll go with Kenny Loggins just for his influence and his what's the word I want? His involvement in the yacht rock genre.
There you go.
Okay.
Wow, not a Kenny fan.
I mean,
this
is a really, really great song, but if we look at some of his songwriting and kind of his influence, it's in there. But the soundtracks, not unlike that yacht rock YouTube series, they kind of always diss Kenny Loggins when he moves into soundtrack realm.
I don't know if you guys have seen this. That is so
good.
Mention that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's one of my favorite things on YouTube.
Yeah, they always kind of diss it. They always they diss when you're trying to make soundtracks happen.
Yeah.
That is fucking funny. He's part of the Holy Trinity. That it's Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins, and Christopher Cross.
But he did the worst version of What a Fool Believes,
despite
the fact that it's his.
That is his song.
He did.
Yeah.
But I mean, he came back with the banger. This is it, though.
That's a great jam.
Crazy.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe episode 1 of the Yacht Rock series is about What a Fool Believes, and how Michael McDonald, who I met right before the pandemic, actually in a bar in Barbara, how he was kind of like the Doobies had brought him in and he wasn't delivering, and so he turns to Loggins to pen the song. I mean, I'm sure it's highly dramatized the way they present it, but
I'm gonna watch it after this because it's so good.
Yeah, I need to watch that too. What is it called?
I gotta find.
It's Yacht Rock. The guy who hosts it's called Hollywood Steve.
Okay.
And there's a lot, they take Yacht Rock songs and they dramatize the making of the song with actors, and sometimes you see big actors in it, even like Jason Lee, it's real campy, but it's a lot of fun.
And it's old early YouTube.
Oh,
so the
really?
quality is just like so bad.
Years old, almost 20 years old, probably.
Yeah, it's hysterical.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's gonna be mandatory.
When Hall & Oates comes in.
Oh, they're great.
They're great.
They call them Hall & Oates calls God, who does he say it to? He goes, "You California vagina sailors."
They're wearing the makeup.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, that's gonna be a rewatch for sure. No. That's what we do around here. That's exactly what we do. Beastie Boys or Run DMC?
I mean, Paul's Boutique was such a huge record for me. Also, Check Your Head when that came out. I mean, so I mean, I'm gonna have to. I was as much as Run DMC is a pillar, literally an amino acid of it. I'm gonna go with Beastie Boys.
Okay. Okay. Steely Dan or Gangstar?
Why did he do that one?
We're just having fun around here. It's gonna get weird. It's gonna get gross.
If you asked me for like the two bands that I would take to the desert island, it's them. There's no way I can even make this. This is like literally the Sophie's Choice. This one does This one, there's no way to. I can't. Just can't.
Here's what happens in this game if you don't pick.
Better.
Okay.
They both disappear. You have to choose. The whole point is to want to bathe after this. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, this is like the easiest hard one though.
It's gonna get more difficult from here on out.
There's a couple curveballs that are just.
Anybody listening to this podcast, like, what's going on over there?
If anybody's a regular listener, they know that you're in the middle of an anxiety attack.
Yeah. Graham is weeping and wiping his eyes with his records.
He's having an existential
crisis.
Yes.
We're just gonna wipe them both out. We're gonna go nuclear option on this.
Ooh.
I like it. We're not gonna learn about either of these.
Yeah.
You can't be happy. I can't be happy.
All right. Well, that's at least one little bin of records there you can burn in the fire. Let's go on to Aerosmith or Bon Jovi.
Oh, I mean, let's just do a nuclear option on this one too. Let's get rid of both of them.
Another nuke. All right, that's fair.
No, not and for the opposite reason.
The bad nuke.
They're both terrible.
Have to hear either one of them.
But just so you know, they all go to the bad place, and they are not categorized as good or bad. It's just all bad there. So Steely Dan is equal to Aerosmith and Bon Jovi, where they're going.
And Gangstar.
Exactly.
And Gangstar.
Oh man,
it just says
to Guru.
It just says music, and just thumbs down, thumbs down.
Oh my!
Yeah, you just put those in the same bin.
All right, West Coast talk here. East Coast, West Coast. Tribe Called Quest or Far Side?
It's another tough one, but I think as much as I love Tribe, and obviously we were out here listening to those records at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Far Side would have a much bigger impact for us in Los Angeles at that time period. So take Far Side. The Bizarre Ride to the Far Side was like, we really, really played that record to death. And I don't mean DJing. I mean just like popping the tape in,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And that's
shout out Slim Kid.
Shout out Slim Kid. They're back on tour as the Far Side. FARSIDE.
SIDE. What?
Yeah.
I have to ask. We have to ask Trey about that.
I thought we did.
No, the rebrand.
The rebrand is not the traditional spelling of Far Side.
Right.
It's
because I
literally
thought,
the Far Side.
Did we? Because does the label own it?
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. We probably don't even need to ask him. I feel like that's the answer.
I thought we talked about that. Maybe not. Okay.
It's been a long time. I got to check now.
Yeah.
Let's get into some tough stuff here, or maybe not.
Queen,
Queen or David Bowie?
Oh, I'll go with David Bowie. I'm actually not a huge Queen fan, tell you the truth.
Okay,
really? Okay.
Fair enough.
Clips.
I'm a huge Bowie fan, though. Massive.
Oh yeah.
I even like the later stuff, even like Tuesday's Child and I'm Afraid of Americans. I love Bowie,
Top 3 Bowie off the top of the head. This place, this moment.
I don't know if I'll come up with 3, but by far my favorite Bowie song is gonna be God, why is the name escaping now? I can sing it.
There we go. We'll take that.
Dance Magic Dance.
No, that's a bugged out record. Like in fact, with context, you're like, what is this? What is this song? Oh, Lady Grinning Soul. I don't know why the name was escaping me, but that's my
yes.
favorite.
Okay.
That was what I was humming a second ago. In case you didn't. Out of key.
Anyone that's like, oh, Dance Magic Dance is my favorite Bowie song, you're just like, what in the absolute fuck? Like,
no, but I came across it recently going through, when I was DJing. I was like, wait, is this the song from Labyrinth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's what I had to check myself. Like, wait, is that what that is? And I'm like, okay, we're not.
Soundtrack guys again. Soundtrack guys.
Hey.
Yeah. Clips or Mobb Deep?
I'll only go with Mobb Deep.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like Mobb Deep, and this comes down to like the timing, obviously. When Mobb Deep came out, like, yeah, we were on, collecting records and playing records, but like we were really bumping the tape. When Clips came out, we were already like deep into DJing, where you're kind of like taking everything piecemeal.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah. Okay.
Single, yeah, well, they would get played in the club, but I wasn't like, let me sit down and listen to the Clips record.
Right.
Whereas Mobb Deep, just because of the time period when the first record came out, not only were we playing the single, but we were bumping the tape too. So it's unfair towards Clips, but it the way it crumbles.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. Jay-Z or Bruce Springsteen?
Well, I'm gonna go with Jay-Z. Just because I think I got more use out of it if we're like looking at all the components. I was just having this conversation with my girl yesterday because she had the Bruce Springsteen E Street channel on Sirius on. I'm like, why are we listening to this?
That answers all the questions right there.
Yeah. I'm not even going to talk about my new Bruce Springsteen fandom. We're not even going to get into that.
He's ill. Don't get me wrong. He's ill.
Yeah.
But, if we're coming out of that or Jay-Z, I'm going to get more mileage out of Jay-Z.
$1,000,000%. AC/DC or Guns N' Roses?
Well, it's the easy one. I mean, it's funny you mentioned those two because I was just having this conversation with a USC professor last week. We're talking about Anthem records, and they don't make them anymore. And when I say Anthem records, I'm talking about records that will have a substantial reaction for any age group, and whether you're playing it 20 years ago or currently. And Took Me All Night Long would be one of those records, but Sweet Child of Mine would also be one of those records. But I am going to go with Guns N' Roses because I just grew up loving Appetite for Destruction. And, right before the pandemic, I actually opened for them at Super Bowl at American Airlines Arena.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Shit, man.
To not just open, but also I got to sit through their sound check, which was dope,
How do you go into that? What's your game plan going into that?
That's a great question, and I'd love to say that I'm so prepped, but I mean, really, you don't know what. All you can do is have like a huge arsenal, and then usually you've over prepared when you do that. As an example, I did the premiere for this Tony Hawk documentary a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
the HBO one.
Yep.
And just based on the music that they had in the movie, and also like a Spotify playlist that they had sent me from Tony Hawk, I was like, oh, I'm really gonna have to dig on these. And I know all those records because I grew up skateboarding, and I listened to punk rock when I was a youngster. So I was familiar with all this stuff. I might not have had MP3s for everything, but I had MP3s for a good portion of it. And I over prepared for a 2-hour set. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's because in my head going in, talking about preparation, I'm like, what skateboarders are going to be there? Who's going to throw me a curveball that I'm not going to be able to deliver? How am I going to be exposed? How am I going to, So you over prepare, and suddenly, like for a 2-hour set, you've got 9 hours of punk rock records on deck. So same thing with Guns N' Roses. You don't want to play any cheesy stuff, even though, that record comes out in 88, I think, or 89, Appetite for Destruction. And there was a lot of corny stuff being played simultaneously with Guns N' Roses, but you don't want to play, with no disrespect to Winger, you don't want to play the Winger record with the Guns N' Roses. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So going in, you just want to play cool stuff that maybe they may have been influenced by, but also people who are fans of Guns N' Roses to the point where they're going to go to a Guns N' Roses concert during Super Bowl weekend at American Airlines Arena that they also might like. So it's usually over preparation, and then you find out you just could have done it by walking in having not prepared at all. If you're a good disc jockey, you know what I mean? Right.
Now, do you touch on new stuff like Seven Nation Army, other arena stuff, or is that kind of off the table?
You can do that because I feel like that's in the pocket. So I would definitely, that would be something you could work in. You could work in anything rock adjacent,
Yeah.
If it's good. You can, disc jockeys who are worth their salt can usually find the through line, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The issue, regardless of genre, but also regardless of the micro categorization within what a genre, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, that's an incredible gig, and it's a fun gig too, from the sounds of it. I mean, that and the Tony Hawk that's kind of what we as DJs live for nowadays, like that kind of shit. After just monotonous, bottle service. I know you've ran the bottle service circuit for eons, and that shit gets old. It gets stale.
Well, imagine this. They say, do you want to play this gig where it's the premiere for the Tony Hawk documentary? There will be a half pipe with a demo, and you're going to play mostly punk rock records. Yeah. Do you not want this gig?
Yeah.
It's like my childhood fantasy manifesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
growing up having half pipes in my backyard and having a shop sponsorship. And in fact, you can go on YouTube and watch my skateboard video from 1990 that we edited on the captain's YouTube channel.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. We're going to post a link to that in the comments for sure, because I want to see that. Sade or Aaliyah?
I mean, I'm going to go with Sade as much as Aaliyah's dope to me, but Sade for sure.
Sure. Bee Gees or Fugees?
Well, Bee Gees. Though that's weird that you say that, because they kind of like their chocolate got caught in their peanut butter on We Trying to Stay Alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Neek loves that song. Neek absolutely loves that song.
It's good. It's a good jam, but it's the track is produced weird, where it's like there's no easy way to mix out of it because of the way they chop the sample up. So it's always tough. Like, how do you get out of this song? Obviously Bee Gees. In fact, it's so funny because right here next to me is, I know it's, what happened to it? This Bee Gees concert t-shirt.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, sick.
From the Spirits Having Flown tour that my dad was a cinematographer on. So here's his backstage pass on the thing. And, so.
That's so rad.
In the Funke family, the Bee Gees.
So sick. God, that's a piece of history. And so are these two gentlemen.
Yeah.
Phil Collins or George Michael?
Oh, I mean, I love George Michael. It's funny because as much as he had a lot of string hits, and I probably was not paying attention to him during the Wham success, but also like when he was like, running with supermodels and whatnot. I remember when the Older record came out, like George Michael Older, when he kind of like simmered down and he's doing kind of, I don't know what you would call it, like adult contemporary songs. I really was like, yo, this record's dope when it came out. So this is in the 90s, I guess, late 90s maybe when it came out. And that's really
father figure?
No, that's even prior. This is like Older's like a record that was not even like, I don't think it was like a popular record. It had no MTV hits except maybe like the song where he sampled I don't know if he sampled Take Your Time or if he sampled Forget Me Nots, one of the two. But
I think it might be Forget Me Not.
It's one of the two songs. I can't remember offhand, but that record is full of like, I don't know, just like mellow stuff. Kind of like Sting doing Leaving Las Vegas soundtrack. Like, Departure. And then also there's this Daryl Hall this record in the 90s. I don't know the name of the album. And I remember having to track it down because there's only a Japanese pressing of the CD just to get this song called Cab Driver. And it's like, I don't know. I think he samples like the Tom Scott Sneaking in the Back drums. And like, it's like super adult contemporary. I don't know why.
Hold on. I'm going to interrupt you. Fast Love.
Yeah. That's Fast the name Love. Of the George Michael song.
Fast Love.
That's the George Michael song?
Yes.
And what does it say what it sampled?
It samples Forget Me Nots.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. I think that was a single off that George Michael Older record.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to go with George Michael just because, I don't know, as much as I love Genesis, hearing it when I was a kid, especially this song called Mama. I don't know if you know this one. I think it came after That's All on that one Genesis record. But George Michael's my choice there.
Fair.
I just skimmed through that Older album.
No, that Older album is fire.
It's good.
Yeah, that came out in '96, and remember I told you my mom had us listening to George Michael all the time. So,
does she have a little crush on George?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, everyone.
Oh, 100%.
Everyone
100%.
did.
Even when he came out, she was like, "So,
yeah. Don't care. Yeah, yeah. Two more. We're gonna go big here with these two. Beatles or Beach Boys?
I mean, that's so tough for me because I love both. And in fact, Beach Boys was my very first concert I ever went to.
Now, you can still press that button.
You can still press that nuke one more time if you want.
Can you imagine erasing Beach Boys and Beatles from like from the pantheon of music?
Is there even music? No Beatles? Like so much would be gone.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my first concert ever was the Beach Boys played the halftime show at like a USC game when I was a kid. And obviously that's not going to be the greatest lineup of Beach Boys.
Fair, yeah.
Though I did go to Brian Wilson did Pet Sounds front to back of the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Which was like, I went to that and that was just like nuts. Though he did open with, and I don't know why, the Bare Naked Ladies song. You know, I want to stay in bed like Brian Wilson did. It's some Bare Naked Ladies song.
Oh, no.
Like, hey, we came here to your Pet Sounds, not the Bare Naked Ladies. What? Yeah, man.
It was it 1 week.
No, it's this song called "I Want to Stay in Bed Like Brian Wilson Did." That's the lyric. That's the hook.
Oh wow!
So he does that one.
A Bare Naked deep cut.
Yeah.
He produced Pet Sounds from bed, as the legend goes. You know, he had a bed in the loft in the studio, and he would lay in bed and produce Pet Sounds from there. Though obviously that's probably exaggerated because there's plenty of footage of him, micromanaging the Wrecking Crew for the making of that song. Though, to be fair to the Beatles, Rubber Soul is like one of my top 5 records of all time. So I can't. It's tough for me to choose between Beatles and Beach Boys.
A nuke.
It's a nuke.
Can you imagine? But you know what? Nuking it would get rid of Mike Love. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a little. You got to do your research on that one to know why you want that to happen.
Have you ever watched the clip of Mike Love when the Beach Boys were being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And he's apparently, I don't know if he's drunk or just like bugged out, but he's like, he calls out the Beatles and he calls out the Rolling Stones. He's like, talking smack during the induction speech. Which is worth a watch because it's so bugged out.
So did he go like Michael Jordan?
What's that?
Did he go a whole Michael Jordan heel? Because when Michael Jordan got inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame or the Basketball Hall of Fame, he went off. He invited the guy that beat him out in the
high school tryout.
In the high school tryouts. He invited him to his Hall of Fame speech.
Imagine harboring that kind of like you're so hung up on this one thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He even said to like the Bulls owners, he goes, you guys are here. I don't know why you guys are here because I didn't invite you.
I mean, Jerry Krause, though, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
After that whole ordeal, yeah. The high school guy is crazy, though.
The high school guy is crazy. He dug deep.
Like, you get the call and you're like, hey, it's Michael Jordan, asshole. And you're like, what? What?
The Mike Love induction speech is more about, I think he's addressing the fact that, the Rolling Stones and the Beatles have been put on this pedestal of rock. Mm-hmm. And then the Beach Boys, for whatever reason, don't, even though they're legendary and prolific, not prolific necessarily, but like they have continue to have legs.
Right.
They've never considered in that same pocket as Rolling Stones or Beatles. You know,
is it because of their bubblegum hits?
Yeah, definitely.
It could be, but the Beatles had bubblegum hits up front too.
That's true. That is true.
Those early concerts before they stopped touring, if you watch the footage, it might as well be a Backstreet Boys concert circa 2000. It's just kids screaming over the music,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just because the Beach Boys like had a whole they kind of pigeonhole. I don't want to say they pigeonhole themselves or box themselves in with their name, and then like surf rock becoming a thing. And so it kind of like locked them into this little thing when like Pet Sounds and Surf's Up are like such bigger than that. Like that's just straight up rock music versus just it to belittle it to like, I don't know, Surf and Bird or something. Like it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right.
When you see these more esoteric conversations of the Beatles or the Beach Boys, they both talk about how they were inspired by each other and trying to one up the catalog, right? So it's not like the Beatles are not discounting the Beach Boys.
No, not at all.
But for whatever reason, you know, the public opinion, they just don't consider, you know, Sgt. Pepper's. Well, I guess music people would say Sgt. Pepper's and Pet Sounds, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the Beach Boys, I guess, didn't, with the exception of Good Vibrations, didn't have another huge hit after the Pet Sounds record.
Yeah.
So maybe why people were like, oh, well, they fell off. Meanwhile, the Beatles don't have that many records either. You know what I'm saying? Like in terms of
short window
catalog. The Rolling Stones are the ones that have longevity. They're the ones that continue to, or not longevity, but being prolific. They continue to make records all the way till, I don't know what their last record was. The last one I was checking for was whatever that one in the 90s that the Dust Brothers did. If you remember that.
Voodoo Lounge?
Could be it. There was like, if you remember, there was like a Rolling Stone song with like a Biz Markie sample in it. And you're like, huh?
That's crazy.
What?
I don't know about that one. Yeah.
Yo, it's called Love Is Strong.
Oh, wow.
And
they have albums for a long time.
Yeah.
Voodoo Lounge, 1994. Love Is Strong is the first track.
Yeah. It's a Dust Brothers production, and it's got 1-2 on it. It's got Biz on the track. So the Rolling Stones have, like, you know, they didn't break up. They're still going. The only thing that's going to stop them is like when they slowly start dying off.
Right.
So it's the Beatles Beach Boys conversation is that's a tough one, but again, this is an esoteric conversation. This isn't, most people be like, what do you guys
it's for the heads.
What is this you're babbling about?
So your final vote would be?
I probably listen to the Beatles more than the Beach Boys, as much as I love the Beach Boys. And I've actually, well, let's see. I'm trying to think who I've seen in concert. I've definitely seen Brian Wilson twice perform live, but the only Beatle I've seen perform is Ringo Starr. And this is really random, but I was walking along Robertson one Sunday afternoon at Robertson in West Hollywood. And I hear someone butchering Beatles songs. And I was like, what is this? Like, who's doing this? Who's letting this happen? And as I get closer and closer to where the source, it's the John Varvatos store, of course. And I'm like, I peek over the hedges to see what it is. And it's Ringo Starr singing, doing Beatles songs. Like it was like afternoon party or something.
You're like, am I having a stroke right now?
I was like, what is this, man?
Poor Ringo, man.
I just thought of this, where these two worlds meet. So this would be just prior to the pandemic, maybe a couple years prior to the pandemic, because we didn't have events during the pandemic. But Stella McCartney was having an event at the Amoeba store in Hollywood.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough, my girl got us on the guest list. So we went, and Brian Wilson was performing, which, you know, that's the second time I've seen him. I believe Pink performed, and I want to say Beck performed, but I'm not positive about that. But walking into Amoeba, where they're just having this event in the middle of the record store, like amongst the bins, if you've ever been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I see Paul McCartney talking to Ringo Starr. Now imagine just walking in and seeing those two guys having a chat, like having a drink and talking to each other.
At the record store.
At the record store with Brian Wilson performing. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's where those two worlds collide.
That's crazy.
Wow.
At Amoeba of all places.
Unbelievable.
I don't
Unfucking
remember
believable.
what there was no fashion show, which would make sense because she has her, clothing line. It was an event for Stella McCartney clothing, and that's why it had that caliber of folks in there. And I was, lucky enough to be in attendance.
God,
So
Wow.
that's the best. That's like the best of music. Like maybe you get a Robert Plant there and you have fucking music, right?
Yeah.
Like there it is.
Yeah.
Like
to watch like Ringo and Paul do like Back in the USSR or something like that.
They didn't perform; they were just chatting. I don't think
They're
they were gonna. I mean, if they performed together, it would be like a big deal. But
Yeah, that's a huge deal.
they're just chopping it up. Like if I bumped into any one of you at an event, we might share a few words.
God. No big deal. No big deal. We do like to end the lightning round with this question. Then we're going to talk to you about some DJ stuff and talk to you about some Vegas stuff and some odds and ends. Outkast or Hall & Oates?
God, man. This is another tough one. I mean, how do you choose these things? And I don't mean, when I say that, I don't mean how do you choose these questions?
Which is also a fair question, though.
Yes.
I'm going to go with I guess I'm going to go with I can't. Gotta go. I was going to say I was going to go with Outkast only because they are so influential for the genre that they're in.
Yeah.
I can't make the same case for Hall & Oates, though somebody might be able to.
Sure.
But I do love Hall & Oates. Like I was at that Troubadour show, that the famous one that they recorded, which was awesome. I think that's actually where I discovered the song Cab Driver. I'm like, what song is this? And I had to research it and find out that it was like some weird Japanese pressing CD. I've seen Hall & Oates quite a few times in concert, and I've only seen Outkast once in concert at the Vibe Awards in like 2002 or something.
Wow.
Where
That's sick.
Again with Renato Laranja, we went and they performed Hey Ya and I Like the Way You Move. Singles.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I do remember seeing that. I remember watching that.
Yeah. Well, I got to see it in person.
That's amazing.
Shout out to Vibe.
Yeah, for real.
Shout out to Vibe.
For real. Who was Vibe? Was that Quincy? That was Quincy, right?
I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, was Quincy Jet?
No, I think Quincy Jones is Vibe.
He's
magazine.
Vibe.
Yeah. Vibe. And then Benzino was Source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My understanding is he came in later. If you research the history there was founded, then he came in and took over. I don't know if he was the founding guys. We'll have to ask Shecky Green. He has the answers.
Shecky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which way you feeling today? You feeling Hall & Oates?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hall & Oates just because though if you ask me to right now if I could see one in concert, I'm gonna choose Outkast only because I never got to witness, other than those two songs, an Outkast concert.
Other than those two songs at the Vibe Awards.
Two singles, I'm like not the ones that I would ask for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might as well have saw Outkast do a magic dance at that point. It's one of the same. Not to discredit Hey Ya, which is a great fucking song. It's just off the wall. Speaking of bugged out songs, that's no one ever in a billion years would have imagined Andre to drop that as his solo contribution. And I Like the Way You Move is just, I like the way you move.
I play both songs on a nightly basis. I would say, they both get worked in there. Those songs got legs. But there's plenty of other stuff in the catalog that you would like to work in if more people would get hyped on it. Usually if you drop something like ATLiens or something, a few heads might be like, oh yeah, but most people are like, what is this?
Right.
It's just the nature of the beast.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, you survived the lightning round. Hopefully it wasn't too grueling.
He dropped what, 3 nukes?
Yeah, there was some nukes dropped.
Two
Brought to you
official
by
nukes.
Nuke's Hot Sauce.
Yeah, a couple partial nukes, and then a couple full blown nukes. Graham, while we have you here, I want to talk to you about some DJ stuff. I know these guys want to talk to you about DJ stuff as well. Obviously, the history of you DJing goes back many years, and we don't need to get into the genesis of that. But I kind of want to hear from you when you knew, the moment you knew this was going to be your career, from then moving forward.
Well, what I'll say first is I don't think anybody who came from my era of DJing, they weren't like, we're going to have a career at this.
Sure.
I don't think it was even in the conversation because, the DJing as we know it now, yeah, there's way more opportunities and you can be like, okay, that's what I want to do. Back then it was something that you just do, right? In addition to other stuff. There wasn't a huge career. You could become a producer, maybe you could go into A&R back in those days, but I don't think there was anybody who was like, well, this is what I do now, or this is, I have a career in DJing. For me, I just like suddenly, so I DJ'd in the 90s when there was no money, and the early 2000s when there was really no money. And then suddenly like 04, 05, there's money. And that was like, not just for like me or some other DJ, that was like an industry wide thing where like suddenly there's money to be made. And the next thing you know, 10 years go by. You know what I'm saying? Like so when you say career, I'm like, oh, you just wake up and you're like, wait, well, hold on a second. You work 250 nights in 1 year. You've been on an airplane for just as many days. And so it wasn't like, yeah, like, well, my career is going great. That was never part of the conversation. It was just like, you were just so busy and just like kept going and going, and the calendar's stacked and there's money coming in and you're having a great time and you're meeting a ton of people and you're seeing stuff that you wouldn't ever see before. And then like suddenly like a decade plus passes you by and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess that was a career. So there's a moment and in the meantime, I've done other stuff besides DJing that I enjoy doing, but what made me want to DJ, a lot of people say they saw the movie Juice and wanted to DJ, which that was not the case for me. I carried records for this guy I mentioned before, Mike Messick. That's how we met him. A friend of mine had hired him to do, like, we used to go to underground parties. I grew up with this guy, Pasquale Rotella, who owns Insomniac.
Yeah.
So we used to go on weekends when we were in high school. We used to go out to underground parties. We called them undergrounds, not raves. Rave was a verb to us.
Yeah.
We're going raving, not to a rave. We go to undergrounds, right?
Yeah.
So a friend of mine decided to throw one, and he hired Mike Messick. And Mike Messick was a dude that would do the side room, the funk room, we called it. And in that room, they're playing disco records, funk records, rock records, and then hip hop of the time, 90s hip hop, right? So we were like, that was where I spent all my time.
That sounds amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
It was the best. And, Pasquale has tried to recreate that a few times at EDC. A couple of years ago, we did a funk room stage. I played, Z-Trip played, Jazzy Jeff played. We've had Craze play, Soul Clap, like people in that pocket. And we tried to get it going, but that's obviously not what people are going to EDC for, to see that kind of stage, right? But back in the day, there was a funk room. And so there was a couple guys playing in those rooms. And I actually have some old flyers from the 90s Insomniac parties. And I don't remember this at the time, but if I looked at them now, I'm like, oh, the Beat Junkies were playing in the same room as me. A-Track was playing in the same room as me. And I didn't know these dudes. Like Hubert's playing in the same room as me.
Right.
It wasn't like it is now. There's no social media. Like you just kind of like showed up for your set. And so I never really like established a relationship with any of these people. It didn't come till later that I knew these people personally, But anyways, Mike Messick. So a friend of mine had hired Mike Messick to do the funk room. And for whatever reason, we ended up driving him to this night, and I carried his crates in, or helped carry his crates. And walking in and just seeing like people getting excited to see this dude show up, I was like, okay, I want to do this. That was where I was like, okay, this is something I'm interested in. Let me explore this a little bit more. And I started collecting records, and having been in that funk room every single Saturday night, all night for however long we did this, that's how I got exposed to records. And again, no internet really back then. No internet all back then. So I'm collecting records by looking at the back of albums. There was a tape called DJ Shame Traveling Through Sample Land. There was like 90 minutes of like some guy cutting up rap samples. So I'd go to record stores and like looking for these samples. When I was in San Francisco going to college, I would sit in the DJ booth at a place called Mickey's Barbecue and watch the On the One guys like Andrew Jervis DJ, and just paying attention to what they're playing, like rare grooves. And that's how I really got on that kind of stuff. So if you want to call that focus on a career, but to me, I was just having fun and I was just interested. It made me happy. So that's why that's what I involved myself in.
Yeah. Do you remember at that time what the big song was? Like, you could drop a big song every night and it would be like that peak moment. Like for a while it was We Found Love, like during our time at Underground and stuff like that.
Well, so we're talking in the 90s here. So like, and I'm in the funk room. Yeah. So big records in the funk room might be Knee Deep by Funkadelic. Yeah. You know what I mean? That would get people hyped. But also hip hop was coming. Hip hop was like, being released, like what we call golden era hip hop was being released at that time. So the Cypress Hill record or Beastie Boys record or the Black Sheep record, these were all big records. Yeah. In terms of, what my San Francisco dates at Nicky's Barbecue, they're playing rare grooves. They're playing, it's where I learned about Steve Arrington's Hall of Fame or, more like, that's where I discovered like the Black Jazz label. I don't know if you guys know Black Jazz, like really dope label. Like it has like a strong arm, right? But I guess trying to think what might be the biggest sample that we might know.
Just recently did like a repress of like some of those albums.
Did they really?
Yeah, I think like this year.
No, yeah. So I was just paying attention to, okay, I see Westbound records, I see, like Curdom records, the stuff that you like. You start paying attention to that stuff, just being in the booth and watching them, not taking notes or whatever, but just being exposed to it and then going to record swaps, Right. And like digging and digging and digging. It's funny. I just hit my homie in New York last week asking him if we, in 1997, if we had gone to the Roosevelt Hotel record swap in New York City, like the famous one. And he goes, indeed, we did. I remember going to one in the banquet room of a hotel when I was out there in 97, but I wasn't putting the pieces together, but the Roosevelt record swap came up in conversation recently in terms of buying the drums for Shook Ones Part 2. And I was like, I wonder if that's the one. So just digging KUSF swap meet, KZSU, like college swap meets, coming back home from San Francisco to go to Pasadena City College swap meet. Like, I was digging and digging.
Were the record labels in your ears giving promos a lot at that time?
I was in a record pool when I moved back to LA in the early 2000s. The late, great DJ AM got me into Cali Kings, of which there was a lot of dope DJs in Cali Kings. Rest in peace to Frank, who used to run it. He died a couple years ago. We would get promos. And I was just telling this story recently too, maybe last week, that you would get so much product in the early 2000s, and I would drive my 87 Monte Carlo down to like, Los Feliz or like Echo Park to pick up the wax every Saturday. And there was songs that I would get and I would dismiss, like this will never work, and then get rid of them after giving my feedback, and then have to buy them 8 months later when they become hits. You know what I mean? And that would happen all the time. Like my taste was so off base.
Brutal.
But, we would get, I couldn't tell you when I unloaded most of the record collection of stuff that I was never going to play again. I couldn't tell you how many Yellow Slip and Slide singles there were, like green TVTs.
Yeah. Yeah, all the Yin Yang Twins, all the
DBT,
yeah,
those are fire.
yeah.
It was no respect to them, obviously, but there was like a ton of that. They push a ton of records on us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the other thing about back in those days of record pools is, Jay-Z would come out with a new single and maybe send 5 to market, right? And that's it. So if you wanted to hear the new Jay-Z song, you're either hearing it on whoever has it on Power, or you're one of the top ranked club guys like AM who would have it. And that's the only way you're hearing that song. Not like now where you just hear whenever you want, right? Like if you wanted to hear the new Jay-Z single, you're going to the club where that guy who has it's playing it, or you're listening for when it's dropping on the radio. So record pool days were funny like that. Sometimes they would, bottleneck the exposure.
Right. Now at that time, you were carrying the crates and you were working in the side room, the funk room. Tell us what led to your next residency. Your first, maybe it's out of town, maybe it's something like that.
Yeah, so I didn't work in the funk rooms back then. I would just spend time there
chilling, yeah.
Exposed to the music I wanted. When I DJ'd when I was in San Francisco, like, here and there. Sometimes I had a radio show at Stanford at the radio station there. And I would pop into Beat Sauce sometimes. I don't know if you guys know Jay Boogie's Dubtronic Science. I would, spin on his show once in a while. But when I moved back to LA in 2000, I think I pretty much been like, all right, well, there's not a ton of money in this. I'll still collect records, but I'm not actively pursuing stuff. But I ended up when I moved back, I went into this place called North, which became Hyde. And I don't know, I just asked them if I could DJ because maybe I didn't like what the guy who was playing was spinning. I don't know. And the owner gave me an audition, and 5 minutes in, he's like, I need you Thursdays and Saturdays. So that's what got me back in. In the early 2000s, I was working 7 nights a week at various spots, nonstop, and carrying records.
Hold on real quick. You said 5 minutes. So that's what, 2 songs?
Yeah, because we quick mix the vinyl. It's like I'm not the dude even back then that might put a song on and go futz around.
Right.
I'm gonna you hired me to work. I'm gonna go to work.
Yeah.
So even quick mixing on vinyl, I don't think I could do it now, having been out of practice for so long. But during our peak vinyl era, 01, 02, 03, right before Serato,
yeah, we
were on it. You know what I'm saying? We were quick mixing nonstop. We kept it moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, there wasn't a ton of DJs working in LA in the early 2000s. It's not like it is now. There was just a few dudes. There was AM obviously was working. There's a guy named Scott Oster who was a professional skateboarder. Then a bunch of I don't know if anybody would know these names since most of them. Adam 12. I mean, you guys know who that is, but most of the around the way dudes that were playing, maybe they didn't keep going in the same fashion, but there wasn't a ton of DJs.
Sure.
So maybe, I don't know, the guy heard me and liked it, and next thing you know, I started working at National, which was a dope spot, and I got the 40 Deuce gig. So I got the Standard. I mean, there was a bunch of early 2000 stuff that put me on.
Was that downtown or West Hollywood?
I played the downtown one from opening day on, doing Wednesday nights and Sunday nights, which were I think the best nights to go down there. And what was cool about that gig was Andre Balaz was like, I don't want anything specific. I want it to feel like if you're here, you could be anywhere in the world. So he really gave you, license to kind of stretch and play some fun stuff, not just whatever was popular. Also, the rooftop where the party was only held 300 people, and there was 500 trying to get in. So even if you're playing the worst stuff of all time that no one wanted to hear, no one's leaving there because they're not getting back in. They're staying at the spot. But I didn't play whack stuff. I just play interesting stuff,
I love that. Now, at what time did you meet AM? Was that early 2000s?
No, I knew AM from high school.
From high school.
We didn't go to the same high school, but we had same social circle. similar social circles. Like if you look at like concentric circles, yeah, like we had like there was mutual friends. So I knew him. We used to call him AMG. That, I mean, those are his initials. That's what he was known as back in the day. And so yeah, so I knew him back then. And then I went off to high school and I went off to college, and coming back, I reconnected with him. Actually, when I was DJing at like, I think it was a Nocturnal Wonderland in like 2000 that he was there, and like we reconnected. So yeah, we reestablished our friendship, and since he collected records and DJs and I collected records and DJed, we would, we vibe on that level.
Yeah. Now, what led to Las Vegas? What led to that moment?
So Ivan Kane, who owned 40 Deuce, and then also a club called Deep, which was on Hollywood and Vine. And you've seen it in like the Nelly Hot in Here video, and it's in Ocean's 11. It was like pretty famous Hollywood club. I was working for him at both those spots, and he was building out 40 Deuce at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. And he had a few guys working for him, but for whatever reason, and I think it's because, when I came into the LA 40 Deuce, I totally changed the format from what was happening there before. It was like kind of loungy, and I just came in there with guns blazing. And because it was such a small spot and it was like so hard to get into and it had such like a, high profile clientele, it just started going off when I started to play like a club format in a small room. So I think he picked up on that and was like, well, this is what we need in Vegas. So I came out with him to Mandalay Bay. And I was doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights for him. And then I was tasked with sourcing more DJs. And so I found 5 who, when I found 5, he was DJing. Here's what happened. Actually, I'd already heard about 5 because he worked at a hip hop site, which was like the only spot to go get hip hop 12 inches in Vegas. Right.
Shout out to War and Peace.
Yeah. Yes. So I'd already heard about 5, but I didn't know him. And Sushi Roku was opening at the Forum Shops, and those being LA dudes, I went to the opening, and like I said, I was looking for I needed a Sunday night DJ. I needed another DJ that could do what I was doing in that 40 Deuce. And I'm sitting there going like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. So I go over, and it's 5, and that's how I met 5. So I hired 5 at 40 Deuce, and then as I started spending more time in Vegas, 5 and I started doing Sushi Roku on Monday nights with the National Lampoon dudes. That was our first thing together. And then from there, I don't know. I just kind of like, I can't remember what my next residency in Vegas was, but I want to say it was probably Tao Beach. Like I was the Saturday and Sunday resident there from the first year, I think, to the 3rd year. And then the Palms opened, and I, became resident at Playboy Club, and then at Moon, and I was doing Rain. And then Marquee opened, and I, me and Stone were the Sunday residents at Marquee from the first year. I don't know. We just kind of like I said, I was saying before, you kind of just wake up and you're like, wait, hold on. A bunch of years have passed where you're doing this stuff. You're not even cognizant. You're so caught up in the middle of it that you're not stopping to realize what it is. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and it was these huge names around you at all times, but at the time it was just, this is my friend. This is just, we're just showing up, we're playing records, we're doing our thing.
Just going to work and having fun, and that's really what it was. And then, it doesn't hurt that you get paid to do it.
Yeah.
So I worked pretty much everywhere in Vegas from like 04 to, every club you can name, from like 04 to whenever the first year of Marquee was done. Because after that Marquee, I kind of got burnt on Vegas. I pulled myself out of that equation. I would go back once in a while and play places, but in terms of like being there on a regular basis or having residencies, like after that first year of Marquee, I was like, all right, I'm gonna move back to LA. Not that I ever moved out of LA, but like I'm gonna spend more time in Los Angeles.
Right. Did you notice when you were out there? Did you notice? You had to have. everything kept tightening and tightening up as far as format goes, where it's like initially when you started, it was pretty loose, and then a little bit less loose, and then it's just play the hits?
Yeah, I think there was a trend towards that for sure, because in 04, when a bunch of DJs started working in Las Vegas, that would be AM, that would be Vice, it would be Stone, Crooked, these people coming from somewhere else. I believe that everybody who came into those slots were recruited for what they were doing in their own markets.
Right.
When I had visited Vegas prior to working out there, I had never experienced true open format. I'd either been like in a hip hop room where you might see like Obi-Wan and Josh Swissman playing hip hop records, or a techno room where they're playing trance. And that was really my only experience. So for what I did, like true open format, I had not seen that other than, AM doing it, or Z-Trip doing it. Mark Ronson, people like that we know that are associated with that style of DJing. And mind you, that style, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, well, this guy invented that style. Or I've heard people say, I invented. When I say I don't mean me, Graham Funke. I mean someone stating that they had invented open format or party rocking, whatever you want to call it. And the fact of the matter is this: that style of DJing emerged out of necessity, period. In markets like Los Angeles and New York, and maybe on some level Miami or any other nightlife hub, you would be in clubs where you had a variety of people that you needed to service. So for me personally in Los Angeles, you might have George Clooney, Dr. Dre, and Slash. So what's your programming to accommodate all of them, where they're all having a good time? Right. And that's really where open format came from. It wasn't somebody waking up one day and going, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start mixing the genres up. It was literally out of necessity. And if you want to take it a step further, if you go back to the building blocks of DJing, we're talking about Kool Herc now and Bombada, those dudes were playing open format. Yeah. They weren't stuck in any genre. They were literally playing every genre, finding the connective tissue and through line to make those records work. So as far as I'm concerned, DJing at its very essence is open format DJing, regardless of whatever tentacles there are, like I'm this kind of DJ or I'm this kind of DJ. Like DJing is open format DJing. That's where it comes from.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
So yes, I agree with you that based on, I would say, people aging out of being exposed to certain kind of musics, you start to lose like playing Black Betty or whatever, right? Because you have a preference. Also, an explosion of the internet, right? Where people have more access to a song. They can hear whatever they want, whenever they want, as many times as they want. Suddenly, yes, the taste gets finite. So you go into a bottle club, you can't experiment a whole bunch because people want to swipe left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know it or they don't like it. So yeah, it becomes very homogenized, if that's the right word, where you're like, okay, I'm coming to do this one thing, and every DJ wants to play it safe because you want to come back.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be the guy who threw a curveball and that's all they're paying attention to.
Right.
So that was a very roundabout way of answering your question. Yes, of course, they bottlenecked what was acceptable to be played in the club. And I think it busted out. There was a backlash to that on some level, where clubs were like, no, we're opening a club where you can go back to doing that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, for the money makers, the big clubs, yeah, and it's not just Vegas, it's in any city where that happens. If you come in and start playing for yourself instead of playing for the crowd, yeah, you're gonna, they're gonna flag on the play,
Right.
Has that affected your interest in DJing and traveling out?
No, because I'm able to compartmentalize those. If I go in to do that gig, I'll go do that gig. If I'm at a gig where I can, have a little more breathing room, then I'm gonna, push the limits.
Right.
So I'll go do any gig. Prior to the pandemic, when we were really like still zipping around, I was playing all EDM clubs where I was just like playing big room EDM, and I can do that all night. I can play just the new hip hop. And then, I can play clubs where you're a little bit more, you can have throwback stuff, or you can do a rock set or whatever. So it just depends on what I'm walking into. I don't ever walk in thinking that I'm just going to impose my tastes on the crowd. I'm going in to service that particular crowd.
Sure. Now, given Graham's preference, if you were opening a nightclub, what would the name of your club be, and who would your resident DJ be?
I don't know what the name of my club would. And it would be tough to choose a resident because obviously I like to. I try and put people on already. You know what I mean? And
sure,
have done for my entire quote unquote career. But it's funny you say that or ask that because we were doing an interview, Stone and I, for some. It's escaping me now what it was for. They said, "Who's your favorite DJ?" And my response was, "It's so dangerous for a DJ to choose among his peers who his favorite DJ is." Right. So that was my answer. And I delivered that answer to him. And I said, having said that, DJ Riz, Melody, and Jazzy Jeff would be my favorites, right?
No one would fight you on that. No one's like, oh, that's a garbage list. Like, no one in the world.
If you fought me on that, you don't know about DJing. You know what I mean? And that's always, just to pivot quickly, whenever someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, I'm a DJ too," immediately I'm like, "Well, no, you're not. You wouldn't bother me with this banal conversation if you really were. Or you wouldn't be bothering me in the middle of a mix." Or, you know what I'm saying? Right. It's my brother's a chef, and I asked him, how do you distinguish between like a chef like you and then someone calling himself a chef? And he goes, when you're in the kitchen, proof is in the pudding. And that's the same thing for DJs. Everybody can call themselves a DJ, but when you step into the booth, can you do the thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know what the name of my club would be, but if I could get Riz out here to be a resident DJ, I mean, who would be angry at this?
I love that. No, I love that. That's it's not just it's a legendary pick, and that's more than fair. I'm curious always because I know you and Stone kind of have different approaches mentally. Like Stone now, he says, "I just want to play fun shit," and I get it. As any DJ, like us three, we're like, we just want to play fun shit, and you are capable of compartmentalizing it, as you've said, where you're like, I can go in there and play shit that I necessarily am not going to go home and listen to at all, a full night of that, and still get some sort of gratification, some enjoyment out of that. It's kind of a fine line, and I want to ask you about that because in previous episodes we've talked about specialized DJing, where we were talking with Neek, and Neek was like, I kind of want to play more house. I kind of want to go down this avenue of playing only house and making house. Did you ever consider that as a viable option where you were like, I want to produce music and listen to and only play out in this realm?
I think here's the thing. I've never seen I've never witnessed that, or I'm not aware. Maybe someone could correct me here, but I think good producers that are good DJs, you're hard pressed to find one that does both. You have guys that are great producers and can get by DJing, or you've got great DJs that can, maybe put something together, but I've never seen like the complete package.
Right.
So for me, knowing that getting a quote unquote hit record, go look at like someone like Steve Angelo. You can name like one solo song of his, right? But he has, I don't know how many songs, 100 songs or whatever. It's a number game. So like getting a hit record is by no means a business model to become a big DJ. If it happens for you, great. But that's certainly not the way to, it's better to pursue DJing. At least that's money on the table. But I will also say that I come from an era in which that's all I needed was being a good DJ to get a name and to get hired and for people to be aware of my reputation to the point where they might hire me. That is not the case now for someone starting tomorrow. Maybe there's no outlet really like, let me just be a good DJ. Right.
Yeah.
That last group that I come from and you guys as well. We come from a time when, you become a solid DJ and be known as a solid DJ and you get work off that. And we're still eating off that, whatever reputation we built. Right.
Sure.
Or whatever trust club owners are able to bestow upon us. Like, okay, I don't need to worry about this guy. I can hire him. He doesn't cost $1 million and he's going to do the job. Right.
Right.
I don't think that exists anymore. If you want to be the dude now, if you want to play EDC now, you're going to have to get some traction with a song, like you're saying, you know. So I never went down that route. I mean, me and Stone have made mixtapes. I think Uno Mas is so highly produced, where there's so much nuance in there that people aren't even paying attention to, that's like our magnus opus, you know.
Stone was saying the same thing.
He was saying the exact same thing.
Because there's so much stuff in there that's like subtle, but I think if Stone and I had put our heads together in a different realm, other than making like our Christmas record, if you remember that, maybe we could have had a hit record. Maybe we could have been like a duck sauce,
like a duck sauce type.
Right.
But it was never the pursuit. So
you guys had all the pieces.
You
guys still do. Like, you guys have everything to do that, to go that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, we could, you know, try and make a track, and I don't know. It's just like, I feel like if that had been something I was truly interested in, then I would have already like been so inspired to chase real hard. And I say that all about a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, in the early 2000s, they did a ton of commercial acting. Like, I'm in a ton of commercials.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never had the fire to like, let me like do this craft. Let me take my acting practice. Let me, you know, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And, you know, collecting records and DJing was always there. That was the money, not just the money on the table, but also something I enjoyed doing. I mean, I still buy records. I don't buy a ton of them. I don't go digging a ton, but I buy records off eBay that, you know, that I either been looking for or discover late in the game. So yeah, I don't know. I just never went down the producing realm. Like I said, I feel like there's great producers who are lackluster DJs, and then lackluster DJs
who are amazing producers.
Great producers.
Yeah.
I was just saying something like that the other day too, because I was like, in order to, and I used EDC as an example. I'm like, you know, the irony in wanting to like DJ on bigger stages these days is you have to do something that isn't DJing.
Right.
You have to make music, and then hope that your taste translates and people enjoy it.
Right. Did you watch the Swedish House Mafia at Coachella?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I've seen this trend over the years of going to EDC. It's moved from like a DJ set to, we play this song, our new single, and then the song ends like you're a rock band. And
and then you just play the next song.
Yeah. And then the next song, it's not DJing anymore. So the weird thing about it is, since you're not playing any instruments, and no doubt in my mind that it's all pre-programmed because it has to go along with the amazing light show that they had. Twisting knobs and dancing around, I don't know. I would get bored out of my mind to do that for an hour to like,
especially when you have the capability of doing more than that.
Yeah. So, and I'm not disparaging Swedish House Mafia at all. They're
of course
do right.
But,
they're doing just fine.
They don't because Graham has assaulted them.
They're like, yo,
second guessing their careers. But I have seen a trend in the recent past, as EDM music gets bigger or has gotten bigger, that they're treating it as if it's a song, and they finish the song and people clap, and then like, you know, and then they start the next song and it's an elaborate light show, almost like it's a normal concert.
Right.
And, so to me, that's not, I mean, obviously that's not DJing, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't, and again, at this point, I can't always tell if someone's playing a pre-recorded track or not. You know what I mean?
Of course.
There's tools now to sound perfect. When at this past EDC last year, when Tiesto went on, he killed it, man. And I think he was like DJing 100%, just based on like how stuff was being put together. But he was DJing like an open format quick mixer, dude. He was just giving you the meat, like action, like it was a build and a drop, and then he's on to the next 8 bars. 8 bars later, he's to the next one, and it just kept it moving. And it was like, it was so frenetic and dynamic to me. I was like, oh wow, okay. Because in the past, you know, playing a 6-minute song, I used to play at Towel Beach.
Yeah.
So this is, I guess, '08 when it started. I had played house records in my set, Daft Punk records or, but I would never consider myself a house music DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much a house music venue. So I had to learn how to be a house DJ. And I found like, oh, you guys are just like every 6 minutes mixing 16 bars. Like, what is this? Like, since no one could see me, I'd be up there reading Time Magazine in between. Like,
yeah, it's a lot different.
Like sitting there, literally flipping, like reading articles, and like, oh, okay, I got to mix in.
Hey, here's the break.
You guys need me? Hang on, I'm finishing this sandwich. I'll be right there. Yeah.
So again, people's definition of DJing changed drastically since it's become one, popular, but two, so much easier to quote unquote become DJ.
Right.
So, it is what it is. It's pointless to get angry about it, or it just do your thing. I'm just going to keep DJing like I DJ.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's that. I'm not going to switch it up for anybody or tell anybody they should do it differently from what they're doing.
And also the specialized route is open format. That is its own specialized route where it's like, hey, all of this fucking music, please come in here. Like, no one gives a shit about all of this music anymore. Oh, you listen to 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Cool. We've been looking for someone that can cater to those three different types of crowds, like that 1, 2, 3. That's its own specialized route.
Well, it's kind of changed now where it's like open format is has now become, at least here in Vegas, has become a blanket term for hip hop and rap.
Right.
Like,
top 40. Yeah.
It's just top 40.
Pop, rap, top 40.
It's not open format in the way that like the early guys like AM and Scam and Captains and all you guys did. You know what I mean? Like it's now when we say open format, they're just talking about the hip hop room.
Yeah, they're bringing more hip hop into it.
Yeah.
I would take a step more where I would say open format is, yes, popular hip hop, and then like a few of the popular EDM songs, and like format. Like you go up and do 10 minutes of
like in this case you're getting reggaeton, pepas, and
right.
That too. So you do reggaeton, you do hip hop, and you do a couple of the uptempo. You play the A Craze, or you play, what I'm saying,
right?
Found Love. You play these ones that are like, those EDM records, and then that is literally quote unquote open format. But as soon as you throw in, take your pick of like something that would be left field now, and got a manager, GM, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
Right.
Oh, let it breathe.
Yeah. It's interesting how the open format is almost initially what would be viewed as open format is just heads now. This is just heads DJing. This is people that actually give a fuck about the music.
Right.
The open format term now is something none of us would ever seek out to play a set of, where it's like, I'm just painting by numbers here. What's coming.
Exactly.
I'm working in a parameter of, you can kind of guess. I'm not going to play, something immigrant song from Led Zeppelin and read and react,
Yeah, right.
And to go along the lines of what you said about Tiesto too and live mixing, there is an art to fucking up. I think making a mistake,
your recovery,
making a mistake, seeing how the DJ recovers.
Yeah.
I'm way more interested than that.
Yeah, we're golfers, man.
Yeah, than the fucking perfect set of, well, every song went off tonight. Every song was everyone's favorite song, and have a good night. We close the book and put a little cherry on top.
But the problem with, not in festival environment, obviously, because people just stand and stare at the stage, right?
Yeah.
But in DJ format and having something pre-recorded, you're not able to pivot if it's not working.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying to feed off the crowd. And I would say now, like, an argument can be made for some kids saying, well, give me the top 20 songs and I'll go DJ. And I go, maybe, because really the key here is not the songs. It's choosing when to play that song in order to get the biggest reaction.
Yep.
Right.
Playing top 10, the first your first 10 songs being the top 10 songs in the country are not going to do the job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Peppering those in to get the reaction that you're making the room pop, that's the job. And that's not anything than psychology. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And that's not walking in 10 p.m. till 2 a.m., running down a list of tracks and being like, here's this, and now this, you love this, and like, no fucking chance. No chance. Like, and that's where that disconnect of building an opening set has been lost too. You know, I'm sure you see it all the time with these opening sets where you're like, man, this is too much too soon. You know, like you're shooting your load at 10:05 for the bar backs and the staff. You know, like,
right?
Yeah. You know, like there's an art to it still, and there's a specialized route in being a blue collar head.
Right.
It's funny you say that because I call DJs like us grinders. Just grind it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't take the job too seriously. At the same time, you got to take the job seriously.
Right.
So we're just grinders. We're coming in. You can count on us to get the job done. And that's what it is. Self-filleting as a DJ is nuts. Yeah. So, I'm always like, we're just grinders. We grind this out. You can call us in. We're the ringer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a lighthouse, man. You know, it's a constant, and you can guarantee on that. Yeah, Travis knows. We'll call the bullpen there. We have some funny questions before we send you on your way.
Oh yeah, I got one.
Taking up a bunch of your time. Go ahead,
I got
Travis.
one. Here we go. Hey, if you could have one animal to kick it with and to protect you all the time, what animal would it be?
Oh, it's gonna be a dog.
Okay.
Yeah. That's easy.
That's solid.
That's solid.
I mean,
yeah.
In my closet, just to my right here, which I won't show you, but I do have like a mandrill head, like a taxidermy. You know, like a mandrill, like the big.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that would be an obvious choice. But
I don't trust them.
I don't know how personable my pet mandrill.
Well, okay. We're gonna assume that this animal is gonna be like is your best friend, so it's not gonna do anything to you, right? So it's there to kick it with you. Is there to protect you. I'm going with a silverback because you can talk. You can talk with him all the time. You kick it with him. Cool to kick it with. Probably be calm as hell until something pops off. So yeah,
absolutely. No, that's a safe pick. I would probably pick like a falcon, maybe.
Oh,
a falcon with just like, because if you see someone coming towards you to attack you, you just falconeer with the glove, end it off.
Take
you know,
off the head.
Yeah.
Take the helmet off.
I'm wearing a long flowing white robe in the desert, and I just let it off. And they're like, "Yo, that guy just killed me from 6 football fields away." I'm over there just waving, drinking a lemonade in the desert.
Yeah. I don't know.
You got to think about that, though, because you're far away. You're far away.
That's a great one. Handle that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's just got a bird. You're like, not so fast. God. Not so fast. Yeah.
Apex predator.
Wow.
So,
go ahead, Neek.
I am setting my DJ friends up with endorsement deals for fast food establishments such as BTS and McDonald's and Bad Bunny. So I would
just say Travis Scott, man. He's back.
I don't know who that is. I don't acknowledge.
He's back. He's back. He came out. Somebody brought him out at a high school or something like that.
Yeah.
Just recently. That shit was funny. That was funny as
whatever
hell.
he gigs that man can get right now.
Exactly.
So I want to set up the Graham Funke meal. Where is it and what is it?
It has to be a fast food chain?
Yes.
God, that's a tough one.
And we need your go-to meal specifics, substitutions, add-ons, everything.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss for words. Honestly.
So, late night gig. What are you eating afterwards?
God, we stopped doing that so long ago.
I was gonna say something tells me we're on a different kick now. We're on a different tip these days.
So listen, the
skin looks clear. He's not eating McDonald's after midnight.
Yeah.
The more you do this, and the more you're like, it gets harder and harder to rebound. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Right.
there have been mad nights where, you know, you go get something to eat after work with the homies, and that's always fun. And I still, you know, might do that. I just might not stuff my face with a pizza or have a, you know, burger or whatever. I have a burger like once a month, maybe. I don't eat them all that often.
Right.
But if it's from a fast food place, I go to the Tommy's chili burgers. You know, I guess, hey, you know what? That's a chain.
That's a chain.
Okay, let's do it.
Nice.
So chili burger, what's the whole meal? Side, drink?
It's just going to be fries and I mean, listen, I'm such a picky eater as it is. And when I say that, I don't mean I'm so health conscious that I eat small amount of stuff. I just
don't like shit.
You know, Stone always talks shit on me that you know, that I only eat like 7 things or whatever. And
yeah, he did say that.
He did mention that.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
He mentioned that, and the only reason I find it funny is because I'm in the same boat. I'm very much a picky eater.
Chicken fingers for days.
Yeah, but I'll have chicken fingers on. I had Dave's hot chicken a couple nights ago. I'll do that on occasion. You know,
stepping out of the norm. Yeah.
Crazy.
I honestly get a lot of turkey sandwiches and chicken breasts, and that's only because I actually truly like that stuff. But if you were to ask me what I want to eat, I just like, you know, good coffee, beef jerky, and like Parmesan cheese.
Man, let's go.
And like olive oil.
Go.
And like that's it. You could dump a crate of that every month on my desert island for it.
I'm good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Starbucks meal. We could do that actually.
Yeah. A little
It's
protein pack.
Charcuterie.
Yeah.
A little protein pack. Graham, what's the last record you bought?
Well, the last record I bought, if I'm looking behind me here, and the name starts with an F. F. We're gonna pull it. We're gonna pull the record.
Volumes and volumes and volumes of albums.
No, we're gonna get it. It's like in here somewhere.
I like that.
This is great.
Look, there's copies of Phazo here.
So sick.
Oh, come on. Where are you?
For those of you that are just listening and not watching, Graham has a massive library of records, a giant hall of records, volumes upon volumes, and will never be a shortage during the apocalypse of music for this man to listen to.
Man, I don't know. Now the name's escaping me, and now I have to look up on my eBay purchases right now while we're on the phone.
I wonder why he can't find it.
I feel you. That would drive me nuts too. I'm not opposed to you looking it up because it would drive me nuts too. Like, I have to know now.
So started with F. Fall Out Boy?
No. Okay, Firefall. But you know what? I'm looking on my purchases, and that actually wasn't the last record I bought. Firefall Elon, which is, I just saw it. You know, the sample from Channel Live Mad Ism, right?
Oh,
but
okay.
There's another bug out. And you know, Colin, I think I hipped you to this record, the very last purchase in the C section. The Champs Boys Choir that did a mashup of Tubular Bells with Donna Summer. And
Wow.
Colin, I think you played that for me.
Yep. Yep. No, that's a good one. Yeah.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Hold the phone.
Because now I have to know. Hold on.
It's one of those things where you have all these records and somebody asks you, hey, do you have this record? You say, yeah. And when you go to look for it, nowhere to be found.
No. Look,
That happens to me every time.
Here is the last record we got.
Hey.
Oh.
That's a dope-ass cover.
Yeah, it is.
That's a cool
It's
sleeve.
a French 12-inch, plays at 45, you know, which is always a bummer back in the vinyl days because, you know, you might forget to switch it back to 33.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Last record, Champs Boys Orchestra, Tubular Bells.
Oh, amazing.
French pressing on Vogue Records, whatever that is.
Love
Sick.
that.
Amazing.
Love that.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Hey, Graham, I want to step back into your acting career.
We use that term loosely.
We are going to use it loosely.
Because
we are
you don't have to
developing-
do the acting here.
Yeah, right. We are developing our DJ biopic cinematic universe. So in our DJ biopic cinematic universe, who's playing Graham Funke?
Well, see, there's going to be actors that I enjoy that maybe are not be age appropriate for the Graham Funke story. Like, you cast Benicio del Toro right now as like young Graham Funke in the 90s.
Yeah.
We could do that now. We have CGI.
Yeah, we do.
technology.
We have
him.
deep fake too. So
Deepfake exists.
I would enjoy watching that movie with Benicio del Toro as Graham Funke.
Love that.
I like that.
Love that. I'm here for that.
I'm gonna make a cameo in that movie with
Let's go.
Will Smith playing me. So yeah,
Good old William Smith.
William.
We
Not
ran
William.
through.
He's not a William.
He's not a
Oh,
William.
he's not a William.
No.
No. Will Smith's real name is
It's
not
like
William. It's
Leonard,
like
right?
Willard or something like that.
Oh,
Is it really?
Yeah, it's something very funny. I'm trying to find it right now on his wiki. Willard. Willard Carroll Smith II.
there it is.
Oh, wow.
Not a William.
Willard. We asked this last episode, and I want to see if you could dive into pondering this. What has been your greatest DJ moment so far?
God, I mean, you're not going to acknowledge that when it's happening, right? There's
Sure.
just lots of fun stuff that happens. So I don't know if there's one that I'm like, that was the moment, you know what I'm saying? Also, like, it would depend on, why it's resonating.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could come up with one.
No problem.
Because again, like, I never looked at this like it was a career.
Right.
Like his career highlights or whatever.
Right. How about this? Anything still remain on your bucket list for DJing?
Good one.
No, I don't think. I mean, because what could it possibly be? It's not going to be playing in like whatever the new hot club is, because you know what that is, right?
Right.
And I've done a bunch of fun concerts in my life, and I've played the festivals. So there's not, if someone's starting out as a DJ tomorrow, like, they might put these things on their list, right? Like, this is what I want to get to. And it might be obtuse to say so, but I'm just like, yeah, we went and did these things that maybe other people might aspire to. And I just never considered them something to aspire to for myself.
Sure.
They're just things that, I was blessed to be able to do. We were talking about the Tony Hawk thing that I did a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's one where I'm like, yeah, this is like, I get to watch a half pipe demonstration with pro skaters that I looked up to, and then I'm going to play some records for a bunch of them after. I mean, that's fun stuff. And I've had a slew of those over the years, playing people's various birthday parties or having people I admire come up and compliment me. There's been a ton of that stuff, but I wouldn't want to say it's this particular one.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It would be tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now it's just
Think of what, other than like, going on tour with some band that I love and like doing the opening set. I couldn't even name what band that might be.
Yeah. No, that's fair. A little bit easier. How about this? Any advice for upcoming DJs, for young DJs, somebody getting into the game now?
Yeah, see, this is always tough too, because so much has changed.
Mm-hmm.
But as we were saying before, the job literally is creating a conversation with the crowd. So it's really paying attention to what you're doing and watching the response. And that's why I was saying there's a psychology aspect to the gig, because anybody can just go, just have an iPod if you're just going to play the popular songs. But if you want someone to take the songs and pick and choose where to put it.
Right.
The gig really is science, philosophy, and that inside that philosophy bucket is the psychology, crowd, how a crowd reacts to something. So really what your job is, like, you can, work, you go to work. I mean, again, there's so many more distractions than the old days. So like, as much as I want to say, hey, just get the crowd, like get their trust and take them with you and do this thing. You look around, you're going to see people on their phones sitting at the tables and they're not there to dance. And, Pasquale Rotella had said something really great when he wanted to bring back the funk room. He's completely aware that his event, like EDC or Nocturnal or whatever, are massive festivals with people staring at someone on stage, right?
Right.
The purpose of the funk room and the way he decided to make it circular was to get people to not look at the stage and start looking at each other again. They want to like dance, like be in the moment. Even last night when I was watching the Coachella stream, as soon as Swedish House Mafia came on, the entire crowd just lights up with phones.
Yeah.
Like, no, in the moment, they're like, they're trying to capture the moment to look at later or something. You know what I mean? So the advice I would give to someone who are DJing is just pay attention. It's like the mechanical part is, not as important anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And learn about music, be open to other types of music. I mean, at this point, the guys that stand out are the guys that know a ton of music and can pivot if you need them to. Just like, I mean, would I be the obvious choice for the Tony Hawk gig if they're going to play adolescent records or like, Pixies records? Maybe not. If you looked at like what I've done before where I played, I'm probably not the obvious choice. So like this guy who used to work at Marquee is going to know these records, but I know the records.
Right.
I got the gig. So having a vast knowledge of different music is probably pretty important for this kind of job. Also, real quick, just came to me. One thing that a lot of people don't do, and this is in many industries, if you're interested in something, you should have some interest in how you got to that point. So I'm not saying like, go research DJs or whatever, but at least know how you got from point A to point B. Right. Because it would seem to me if you're truly interested in something that would be of interest to you anyway, whether you're a woodworker or a lumberjack or a disc jockey or a chef or whatever, you think you have some interest in like learning about how we got from here to now,
Right.
And there's not a whole lot of resources, honestly, for DJs. The books about DJing are not that interesting, in my opinion. I have all DJ books, and they tend to, it doesn't speak to me necessarily. No one's written the book about open format or whatever, or like early 2000s New York and Hollywood steez. Just came and went,
Yeah. I think there's a lot to still be told of that time, and I think people are starting to retroactively analyze that now. Bloghouse just got its own book recently, like these moments where you were clocking in, are now being revered as Nick mentioned, our Woodstock. Our peak for some of the moments that we shared in these clubs, or even musically, finding music on blogs and stuff like that. We didn't even get to touch on it, but as we're wrapping up right now, tell us one movie everyone should watch. Doesn't matter who you are, everyone needs to see.
For what purpose do they need to see it?
Your recommendation.
God, I can't choose one movie. I mean, I love, just off the top of my head, Blade Runner, but I couldn't tell you to go see that other than for me personally, that movie visually and the story and many components of it defined, I would find it in my DNA over the years. I think it was the first movie I ever saw on a VHS tape, but yeah, I mean, that's an amazing movie, but that's one of many amazing movies. It's like songs, hard to choose what the will be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I knew that put you in a pretzel, and
I love that.
and yeah, I'm glad you said Blade Runner. How did you think the new one held up compared to the old one?
Well, I liked the new one. I think they could have cut some time off, and it would have had broader appeal. I think people got turned off by the length of it because it's very moody and plotting, which I enjoy because I have the appetite for that kind of movie. I think if they cut 20 minutes out, it would have been more commercially successful.
I agree.
But I thought it's great.
Yeah.
And my dad does special effects, and he did the effects on the new Blade Runner. And for that particular movie, they had gone back to using miniature photography like the original Blade Runner because they knew that it was going to be put up against it. These two movies were going to be put aside. So instead of using the digital landscapes that you might see in a Marvel movie or whatever, for Blade Runner 2049, they used, miniature photography for most of the films. So when you put them side by side, you're like, okay, wow, this is in the same pocket.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
I got to go rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same.
I've watched that movie way too many times. I know it like the back of my hand.
It's so dope.
Yeah.
The original or the new one?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. And the theatrical and director's cut of the original. Yeah. Because the ending of both of those, oh man, I love it. And the director's cut of the original I think is superior, but even the theatrical cut is great too.
Yeah. Yeah, they're amazing movies, especially the first Blade Runner.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a little more on the nose, we are putting together a 5-on-5 podcast playlist.
I got you ready.
We need you to contribute by adding one song that needs to be on our playlist.
Yeah.
Must be on Spotify.
Okay, well, one song that or one artist I discovered during the pandemic, which I think is really great, is this dude named Child.
Child. Yeah, I saw him in concert. He was in concert with Emotional Oranges. He opened for them.
Wow.
Yeah, he's
amazing.
How was it? Amazing.
Yeah, so this song called Pirouette, which was like the first one.
Yep.
It is such an amazing song. And that's the first one that comes to mind just because we were locked down, and then I saw this video. It was like a promo video of that song, and it's like a funky, like wooded stereo studio that you record. It's a dope song. So I mean, that would be the one.
So I've heard him do the strip version of that too, which is amazing.
It's great. I hope he blows up. I throw it in my set on occasion, but it's it's like 90 BPM, and it's like it's funky, but it's not
right.
No one's. It's like it's moody. It's emo,
Yeah.
I love that. It. Yeah, add it, lock it in.
It's added.
Graham, what do you got coming up? Tell everyone where they can find you, where they can see you DJ.
Finish out this month with we've got some bungalow gigs. Obviously, that's my residency, and then you can find me at Mix in Sacramento at the end of the month. Which a lot of fun. People play up at Mix and Park, same owners.
Yeah, I've been there. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to look at my calendar past April to let you know about anything else. But yeah, finishing out the month, it's bungalow gigs and then Sacramento.
Excellent.
Who you got going in the NBA playoffs?
What's that?
Who you got for in the NBA playoffs?
I don't even know who's in the playoffs after the Lakers got kicked out. I know the Lakers did bad this year, but
they did.
Who's in the playoffs this year?
The other LA team is in.
Oh,
nope.
Clippers?
No, they're not.
Oh no, they didn't. They didn't make the play-in. That's right.
They didn't.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't know what's going on.
So we got Atlanta versus Miami.
Minnesota knocked out
Brooklyn versus Boston.
Well, this will be fun. I mean, I don't have any dog in the fight. But,
I mean, we got Chicago in the fight, but they're playing Milwaukee right now.
Y'all got a tough card. With
we got a tough card right now. So
yeah. No, that's fair. Let people know where they can find you on social media, and we will send you on your way, sir.
I keep it pretty basic. It's just my name at Graham Funke, GrahamFunke. You may or may not find interesting stuff at the various platforms, depending.
A lot of mustaches.
A lot of mustaches. Currently none.
Yeah.
I got a little tiny bit.
A little peach fuzz.
Yeah, obviously, I've had mustaches for years. We go in and out of favor.
No, I love it, man.
Yeah.
It's an absolute honor to have you on the show, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm glad you guys can endure my me spewing these various viewpoints.
We invite it,
man. You call it spewing, we call it dropping gems.
Yeah. This is the place to do that, man. And we're grateful to be able to share your story with other people. Is he
99?
What's that?
Is he 99? 99th
episode 97 or 98, Nick? I think
97. I want to say
episode 90,
this is 98. This is 98.
Episode 98.
Wow.
So yeah. We should remind everyone listening. This episode is going to come out this week, Saturday, in Las Vegas. We are doing the 100th episode celebration at 18 Bin in Las Vegas. All three of us are going to be DJing, as well as Tim Tones and surprise special guests throughout the day. Graham, if you want to drive up from LA, we'd love to have you throw down a set.
Yeah, come through. We'll have breakfast ready for you.
Yeah. We'll leave the light on for you.
Vegas since before the pandemic, and I'm actually pretty curious. I was just telling Stone, like, let's go out there and have a look at this place, just to see how it fares. You know what I mean? No,
would love to see you guys.
Let me make a suggestion while I got you here. This guy Nick Lopez throws the best fucking disco party you've seen in a long time.
Yes.
Oh, it's called Paradise Fever.
Right.
Nick, it's at On the Record, and now can we announce a new one? Yeah, Money
Baby, June 5th at the Virgin Hotel.
It's fun. Well, so isn't On the Record at MGM though?
Yes.
On the Record is at Park MGM.
Right.
We are there 4 times a year.
Okay.
With Paradise Fever, and then we have Paradise Fever also going to be at Money Baby, which is at the Virgin Hotel. That's going to
Old
be
Hard Rock.
Yeah, the Old Hard Rock. June 5th is our first date.
Yeah, Stone and I just did the disco. There's the guys that own On the Record own a disco night called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Stone and I just did their disco night last month.
The one in Texas or the one in LA?
What's that?
Is it in LA or I know they have a spot in Texas.
At the Line Hotel in LA.
Okay, cool.
The Houston brothers, same dudes as
yeah.
And I was my mind was blown. We walked in, there's light up dance floor. I mean, it's like a legit disco.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. The one in Vegas is cool too.
Yeah, we've been to On the Record. Yeah, it's dope. Pre-pandemic, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Good. I'm glad to. That might be the weekend to do it. Tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting us talk your ear off for
I talked
2.5 hours.
Gotta salute the captain.
Yeah, we got to get you back out to Portland. I know Travis and I would love to see you. Eric would love to see you.
Up there. Always have a great time when I'm up there.
Yeah. And what's that?
Plus coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
Yes.
And avoiding street fights. Yes, all of the above.
I welcome them. I let them swirl around.
Yeah, he welcomed them. You avoided them, Colin.
He just wanted his food.
I said I'm taking my ass to bed.
As soon
as shit hits the fan, I'm like, I'm taking my ass to bed, bro. I'm too old. I get bumped in. I'll be like, fuck this shit. Yeah, dude. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much, Graham.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Everyone stay safe. Take care. Peace.